Hello, yes, hello everyone. Yes, well, yes, it's Sunday evening and time for another live broadcast. And this tonight, it's a TF Nation focused live broadcast because we are now 5 days a week. We are now on the 5th of August, so we are officially only 11 days away. Well, I myself am only 11 days away from leaving for the Birmingham Metropole Hilton, and then it begins officially on the Friday, and we'll have a great weekend till the Monday. So yes. So yeah, we are expected to be joined by Knowlsy and 000 Firestorm. Just point out, I did intend to do this about, around a good hour earlier than now, but I dozed off this afternoon and had a sort of bit of a power nap too. And unfortunately, I didn't set an alarm to wake me up. So yeah, right, okay. I am just going to get. So while we're just waiting, all the links have been sent to the people who hopefully will join us. Okay, I'm just going to. This computer has been really slow. I think partly the reason was because partly the reason why is just because of the atmospheric conditions. Plus, this is a fairly old model for an iMac. It still does its job pretty well. I'm looking at getting a new one this Christmas. Whether or not it will happen at that time, I don't know, but we can see. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I just said I know I have not done I've only done one official sort of TF Nation video this year so far. The main reason being is there's just been things going on that I've really had to, let take priority. So I thought, let's do a. Everyone else is doing their videos. Every other YouTuber that goes is really making a lot of videos as well. Most of them that I've seen look good. So I thought let's do a live stream, just focused mainly on TF Nation, to do something, where we can all talk about how we're feeling, what we're looking forward to before we go to the event. Hi, Sam.
Hi, mate. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Apart from I'm all pitch dark, that makes no sense. Why have I got no light in here?
Light isn't working, or?
Hang on. That's still not right. The webcam. That's weird. I don't know why I'm searching that dark. That is weird. Let's try. I'm not sure what's causing that. Let me have a look at the settings there. The settings. No idea. That's really weird. It shouldn't be that dark.
Just gonna nip to the loo quickly, mate.
No worries.
You right there, Sam?
Yeah, all good.
Be with you in a sec.
No worries.
All right, so how are you?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Doing quite well.
Yeah.
Not long to
Lizzie
go now.
About 11 days. Well, till we leave. Yeah. Lizzie says she's on holiday at the moment, so.
Oh, I have no idea why I'm in pitch blackness. I can't explain it. I've got plenty of lights, so I don't know what's causing it.
You got your lights on?
Yeah, they're in the background, but there's still plenty of light. It's not dark. It's the sun's
No.
gone a bit, but it's still plenty of light outside. I don't know why I'm still pitch black. I don't know what's causing it.
Yeah, Knowlsy's got the link. He might be with us in a minute.
I might as well tell you something about TFN, mate, because John told me something earlier, and it's pretty interesting. There's somebody coming who has not been to the convention in probably 5 years. And it's someone you'll definitely need to meet. His name's Johnny, and he's known as the porn star. You've probably heard of him.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been to the convention for a couple of years now. He stopped. He got married, so he stopped coming for a while. I think he hasn't been in about 4 years, so pretty good that he's coming again, because I haven't seen the guy in ages.
So this will be his first official TF Nation. He used to go to Auto Assembly.
Yeah, I don't think he's been to any of the TF Nations yet. He did go to Auto Assembly quite a lot, and then he branched off due to getting married. So as far as I know, this is his first TF Nation, which, to be frank, is the same as Auto Assembly, really. It's just different people running it.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I look forward to meeting him, hopefully.
I don't know if he's coming for the whole thing or just one day, but it'd be great to see him either way. So what have you been up to, mate?
To be honest, not that much. I'm still doing my work experience placements. I've got 3 weeks left of that.
What are you doing after you've finished that?
They said there probably won't be any vacancies available till sort of Christmas times when they recruit. If they recruit for vacancies for Christmas, so I don't know. Just looking to something and start looking for a 16-hour vacancy to begin with.
It's a shame you don't live in Hull, because I could probably get you in at my place.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, yeah, it would be nice, really. Yeah, I mean, I'm considering, maybe in sort of November time, if you and John, possibly Tony, are free at some point for a weekend, I was thinking I might come over for a weekend and stay in a hotel.
Oh, yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. I'd love to have you over. Great to see you.
Yeah, we got one viewer. That might be John. I think he's got the link. He's just let me know. So
Sad day though, eh?
yeah. Oh yeah, that poor Barry Chuckle.
Yeah, we've lost one of the Chuckle.
Oh, I remember Chuckle Vision. Yeah, Chuckle Vision. Chuckle Vision. That was a fun show.
It was. I didn't realise, it ran for about 32 years. It started in 1997. Didn't know that. 32 years it was running for. Knowlsy's with us. Knowlsy.
Oh, hi, John. Oh, you're on the Bronies UK. Hi, John. Are you all right?
Bloody hell, you're a bit dark, Sam.
Yeah, I don't know why. I can't explain it. For some reason, I'm literally in the darkness, so I don't know why. It's really weird.
It's Thriller.
I'm the mysterious man at the moment. You don't know me. You can barely see me anywhere.
Oh, Sam, I love the fairy lights. How lovely.
They're not. They're LED lights.
Still, they look like fairy lights.
Miniature LEDs.
Could that be the reason?
No, I've never had a problem before. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense why it's so bloody dark.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for joining you too late. I kind of got a last minute.
That's okay. No worries.
Yeah, just thought to kind of just make a quick, brief thoughts video talking about BronyCon ending. So.
BronyCon's ending?
Yeah.
Yep. It's ending next year. Sorry?
They're not doing any more Brony conventions.
No, they're stopping it on the grounds that its attendance has been dropping. They've lost something like 20% of their attendance in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, apparently BronyCon 2019, they've announced that it's going to be the last one. Like Sam said, it's apparently within a year, they had a 17% drop in attendance. So apparently the other reason that is people are saying is that they don't want to downsize it. They don't want to move either and possibly downsize the convention. They want to kind of let people remember it that have been before of how big scale it was and how good it was. So I can kind of get that idea. I understand that. I mean, I said that in the video I just done anyways, but I've been meaning to get a video out and talk about it and just kind of give my thoughts on it, so I thought to just do it. Plus, I think the Brony UK channel's getting a little bit left behind a little bit. I know Sam's busy with work and everything, and he's not made anything for a little while, and I've been dabbling in it, not been doing much with it either. But we're increasing in subscribers. We've 13 subs now, so we're doing something right.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, as I say, right. Just like I've got the Google, I've got the TF Nation stuff up here. So
That's better. So, how are you then, Lawrence? How have you been?
I'm very well, thanks. Yes.
Good, man. Good, man.
How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just, chilling out.
Yeah, I'm still doing my work placement at the Entertainer. I've got 3 weeks left at that. That's going fairly well.
Cool.
You think they're going to keep you on?
Well, they probably won't be able to, no, because I don't think they can afford to. I think they said, you can apply at Christmas time. And, they'll recruit her. Oh, yeah. We've got a message from Carl. See if he wants to join us. Right, okay, Tony.
Just over a week away from the big day.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, looking at it, I can't believe it's been, nearly more than a year since last year's convention. I just can't believe it. Seems like it was just a week ago, really.
Yeah, it just flies by when you think about it. It is, it just literally just fly by. Before you know it, it's a year's gone, and back to TFN.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly comes around very quickly. I mean, you pretty much get the first 3 months of the new year out the way, and it's practically here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's a bit scary, really, because as soon as TF Nation is finished and everything, and it's here, and you think about it, it's like what, 4 or 5 months, and then it's Christmas.
Yeah, I know. And obviously, the added excitement of Stan Bush this year has probably got so many more people coming to it. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Oh, it is.
So we plan to go to Birmingham on the Friday because, I mean, what do any of the panels you guys want to go to on the Friday, or?
The only panel that I know is going on Friday is that YouTube panel that Tony's doing, which is based on small YouTubers and stuff. I mean, I think that's at 1 o'clock. I don't know what else has been happening on the Friday, to be honest.
Yeah, there is loads of other stuff side panel stuff. I mean, I'm gonna have to have a look on the thing again because there was a couple that were fairly interesting that I read about that I wouldn't mind to check out.
Have a look.
I'm looking forward to meeting Daniel Royden, because he voiced the Megatron. He voiced Megatron and upgraded Galvatron.
Right, so this is what they've got on Friday. So 10 o'clock, registration, wristband collection. 9 p.m, same thing. If you don't pick them up at 10, you can pick them up at 9. Then 11:30 a.m. morning, they've got something called Double Dare. We invite you to sit through what was one of the worst but humorous official dubs in Transformers cartoon history. You've got then 1 o'clock. You've got Attack of the Small YouTuber, which is the panel Tony's going to be on. Then you've got 2 p.m. You've got a panel about customizing Transformer figures. There's something called 3 p.m. There's a panel on that's going to be about a new social media thing that's focusing on toy collectors. There's a panel for the Transformers Facebook group at 4. There's going to be some at 5 o'clock. There's a panel that's going to be all about basically the sellers, people that trade in Transformers and stuff. 9 p.m. they've got something naughty, which is like an over 18s panel where they're going to be reading some adult fan fictions or something. Main hall, 6 p.m, 6:30. They've got something called the Matrix Quest. 7:30, the Golden Age. So it's going to be like they're going to do a 3-part episode special of the original series. Then obviously from there it's the usual stuff on the Saturday and Sunday.
So the dealer room opens about 10 normally opens, doesn't it?
Dealer room opens at 10 o'clock. Looks like Stan Bush's panels are on the Sunday. 2 p.m. in the main hall is Stan Bush's panel.
Very busy on Saturday, won't he? Preparing for the concert.
But
Yeah.
I do want to go into Ben
You guys just
Friday.
yeah. Sorry. Have you guys just got the tickets? That's, you know, it says admission for the weekend and the concert.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah.
I should have, hopefully. Yeah.
Do you know if Tan's around at all? I mean, I've sent him the link, so if he wants to come on, he can. Or
I have no idea. He was on Facebook not too long ago. He was in pub in his local not long ago.
oh, if he's in his local, then yeah. Right, let's see.
I don't know if
Yeah, Lizzie's told me she's on holiday.
yeah. Oh well, if it's just us three, it's us three. No worries.
Well, it's you two and the mysterious man in the dark.
True. You're missing a great opportunity here, Sam.
Well, I could be naked for all you know.
That's not just true.
Sat here in the dark.
No, you should be going. This is the voice of the Mr. Ons. Hey, Carl.
Carl's coming up.
Carl is joining us. Let's start by walking in mind. Right, let's start talking about ponies.
No, I already had a good laugh that BronyCon is gone, even though I'd never heard of it, so it can't have been that good. You know, BronyCon is gone because people are starting to figure out that, you know, being a brony is a bit fucking shit. Man, Joe, it's a lot of people. I think it's a lot of people are starting to get bored of that whole, you know, cutesy, you know, fucking.
It's slowing down. As
thingy. Yeah,
it is slowing down.
Yeah, it's slowing down. It's it's. I think people, you know, it kind of started off with, you know, like your Steven Universe and all stuff like that, and people are getting a bit bored of these bland, inoffensive fucking cartoons. I say it's when the new version of Thundercats comes out and the new version of She-Ra, I think they're going to have some of the lowest viewing figures ever seen.
Yeah, I don't think anybody particularly, especially that Thundercats, whatever it's called, it just looks terrible.
Yeah, it's like we were on about it the other night, saying it's the whole kind of thingy with cartoons being drawn in the CalArt style. People are getting a bit bored of it because, you know, there's only so many times you can watch the same thing. It's just the same thing, you know, just rendered in cutesy animation. You know, people are starting to want to grow up a bit and want a bit more out of the stuff. You know, but I don't know. I mind you, I haven't watched any fucking decent. Well, I haven't watched any new cartoons for ages. Last new cartoon I watched was Series 3 of Rick and Morty, and that was crap.
Yeah, I mean, Rick and Morty. I like Rick and Morty, but I think it's one of those things which it's kind of overhyped itself to the point where the fan base did kill itself.
Yeah, it has. It's completely nuked itself, and then it's when they've done the third series and sort of added much more snowflakey elements to the writing. It's kind of imploded on itself, because what was starting off as a half decent, you know, cartoon sort of aimed at, you know, older teens, young adults kind of thing. It's sort of gone, you know, well, I watch cartoons for fantasy escapism, not because I want to get woke.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Get woke, go broke.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been. So how have you been coping with fucking sticky heat and everything?
Not very well.
I like the summer, but I just don't like the humidity.
No, it's killed me these past few weeks. I've hardly been able to do anything. I've just been that fucking bad. You know, I can't breathe, and then fucking headache all the time, and you know. It was sat the other night. It was that hot. I was sat with a fucking fan down on floor here between my legs, blowing up thingy, because I was that sticky. My fucking honest to God, it was pouring. I got fucking nut soup going off by the fucking gallon.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, why does nut soup always smell worse than any other sweaty parts? I'm sat here and it's just like blowing away, and I'm like, oh God, that's nice. Yeah.
What you been up to, Carl, apart from melting in the sun?
No, I haven't been anywhere. I haven't been able to. I've just been sat in the house. The only time I've been out of the house recently is just to go fucking shopping. That's it. It's a bit crap, really. It's a bit crap, really. I know me and my mate, we've planned we're going up to, Elvington Air Force Museum in York sometime in October, I think it is. We've planned it in for, just for a fucking day out sort of thing, because I'm getting sick of sitting in fucking house all the time. I can't go anywhere. And, it's like he says this as well, might as well go, because there's like there's something on, I don't know what it is, like an open day or something like that. So says might as well go up there because he's young and wants to go as well. So yeah, a bit bloody kids or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm red hot now.
Problem at work is because I work on the ground floor and the air conditioning on the ground floor does not work properly, and as a result, the ground floor is always really, really, really hot.
Yeah.
We've I don't know what happened, because we actually logged a complaint about the fact that we're stood behind the tills all day in the big heat, and about 2 weeks ago we got told in a meeting with management we're going to get some fans in behind the tills for you all. 2 weeks later, still no fans. So,
yeah, fans will turn up round about Christmas time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and then it's they'll turn up. It's like, oh well, we needed these like fucking 3 months ago. They'll get put in a cupboard somewhere, and then next year you'll all be stood at tills roasting your ass off. You've got cupboard to get fans out, and they'll say like, oh yeah, well such and such a shop needed them, so we sent them over there. It's like, well, you need to be sending them back.
Well, the interesting thing is about fans is before I started working there, they used to have them. About a year ago, I got told they used to have fans that they put behind the tills if it got too hot.
Yeah.
And the reason they're not there anymore is because they got a new health and safety guy in, and on day one he said, get rid of them because they're a health and safety risk.
Fucking
yeah.
Yeah, fun police.
The place I've been doing my work placement at in the entertainer shop. I mean, yeah, the shop floor is very well air conditioned, but like when I've done stuff in the stock room, it gets really blood fucking hot up there because they've got this really nice big fan, but like you're up in the stock room and it's like sometimes you nearly want to faint.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to say, we're getting an entertainer in Doncaster now. Because what is it? Because Toys R Us has gone, and so we've got Smiths, and then we've got another shop called Toy Town, and then it was in paper of the week that Entertainer's opening a branch in Doncaster, but I don't know whereabouts it's going to be. But it said it's going to be in shopping centre. And, for some reason, Doncaster Free Press, rather than going, like, oh, yeah, we've got a new shop opening in Doncaster, it's going to bring, say, 20, 30 jobs to area. First, what they decided to do was go, oh, the Entertainer's opening a shop in Doncaster. However, because the people that own it are sort of like, fundamentalist Christians or whatever, they don't stock anything to do with, like, Harry Potter or like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And people were going, oh well, that's disgusting, and it's like, well, first, you don't have to shop there. No. Second, I've been in, I went in Toys R Us, I've been in Smith's, I've been in other toy shop, and short of the Disney store or something like that, there's hardly anywhere has any Harry Potter stuff in anymore anyway. Nobody's bothered about it anymore. It's its bubble has burst.
Yeah, well, that's true. Because I mean,
the only things I've seen really are the pop vinyls for Harry Potter. I mean, obviously you've got this new Fantastic franchise.
Yeah.
Same things happened at Primark where I work. Because basically, about 2-ish months ago, we shipped in tons of Harry Potter stuff. You know, Harry Potter T-shirts, Harry Potter little bag things. You know, you name it, it had Harry Potter slaps on it. And because we now are at the phase where, as you say, the bubble's burst, well, we're literally selling all this Harry Potter stuff off at £1 because no one wants to buy it.
Nobody's bothered about it, no.
You know, people are like, the other day I had someone buy what would have been 40 quid's worth of Harry Potter stuff for £5 because it's how little its value is now.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's bothered about Harry Potter anymore. There's not been any new books, and they're doing is it Fantastic Beasts or whatever, which is
I have heard that Warner Brothers have bought the rights. Yeah, I have heard that Warner Brothers have bought the rights to this book that's a play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yeah, but I heard that did really, really badly, both as the book and the play.
Yeah.
I heard it was a complete failure as a concept, and it just didn't do very well.
Wasn't that the one where they said they cast a black woman as Hermione, and then J.K. Rowling came out and went, started all virtue signaling and stuff?
Yeah,
and completely reversed what she'd said a couple of years back about Hermione, where it's like, oh yeah, Hermione was supposed to be black. It's like, well, it's a bit funny how when the first film came out, you said that what they call Emma, you'd always imagined Emma Watson was playing Hermione. Yeah. You'd always imagined Emma Watson playing Hermione, and it's like, oh, right, so make your mind up. Well, that's all J.K. Rowling does anyway. She just spends all the time on Twitter virtue signaling now.
Well, yeah, I mean, didn't she recently state that she always, something like Dumbledore, she stated, oh, well, Dumbledore's gay?
Yes, Dumbledore's gay, and it's like, no, you're just saying that now because you're virtue signaling like what fucking Lily Allen does.
It may seem like a cruel thing.
I know what she says. She's now announced that there's this Harry Potter universe that basically is like a canon universe. They're writing things that happen after the books. Obviously, you've got this new Fantastic Beasts. That's the prequel story.
Yeah.
The thing, I do like Harry Potter because I grew up with it. I mean, when I was 11, and I even have a friend whose father. I even got to go to the set when it was being filmed because I had a friend whose dad works in the film industry, and he worked on all the films. So. Yeah,
it's like there's still enough. Kind of demand for new films. It's like, say, an adult Harry Potter trilogy would, you could pretty much guarantee that you'd get the old fans coming back and you'd get new fans from the story.
You would definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen until they bring out, some new books or some new films.
Well, the two things that I feel like are worth mentioning is, firstly, the Fantastic Beasts franchise they're now doing for films is based off what is basically based off an encyclopedia of all the different creatures in the Harry Potter universe. It's not based off an actual storybook. And the other thing that's worth mentioning, I don't think J.K. Rowling has any intention of writing any more books.
No, she always said she didn't. But the thing is, because she didn't kill him off in the 7th book, there was always going to be pressure on her to write more.
Yeah, she doesn't want to. She's got no interest. She's made her money. She's not interested anymore. Yeah. As Cal said, she'll spend the next 20 years just twittering.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I said, she's got no real interest in doing any more things because it's hard. It's a lot easier for her to sit on Twitter and just keep coming up. I mean, she wrote them other books. After she'd finished Harry Potter, she tried to sort of break into writing adult fiction.
Yeah, didn't she write one or two and then just stop?
I think she wrote 2 books and both of them were crap. Nobody liked them because she. I've never read them, but I know when I've read reviews online, which isn't particularly fair to say, because you know, people can write whatever they want on reviews online. But the majority of reviews I've read about the other books that she's written, they've all said there it's basically it's just teen fiction. You know, it's teen fiction, but she tries to make it more adult by, you know, having lots of swearing and things like that in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, it sort of reads like that, and you know, people didn't like it, so I think she's sort of given up on right. You know, she had a good idea with Harry Potter, but she's basically a one-trick pony. Oh, I'm gonna switch the light on. Oh. Oh, that's better.
You're right, Carl.
Yeah, I just had to get up and switch the light on. Oh, that's better. See, I can see. Yeah, but I haven't been doing much. I've just been what they're calling it. I currently got what they call it, Starsky's car on the go. Like that, it's finishing off. Then I've got a box down here of cars. I went to car boot sale about 6 weeks back. And for £3, I basically got a carrier bag full of cars, so I've got plenty of cars there to be going on with.
Oh, Sam's gone for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I noticed his camera thing, and then he what they call it? He went, there he is. Yeah, he's gone off. Yeah. That's what I say. I finally managed to get the green paint I wanted to start off my nuke launcher. So I'm starting that. I'm just doing it a bit at a time because I don't want to fuck it up. Because my hands are being a bit shaky with it being hot and everything, and you know, pain and that. That's what I say. I've managed to get a couple of cars finished, but other than that, I haven't really done or bought. I got this, which is pretty cool. Hang on, where is it? Went to Own Bargains the other week and got the Lamborghini gift set.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's Major A. It's not a Matchbox or Hot Wheels.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, not bad. It was £4, and it's one of each of the major types of modern Lamborghinis. You know, you've got an Aventador and what they call, and then you've got a Gallardo, Italian police car, there, which you can only get in this box, as far as I know. They had another set as well that was like a track day one. Where they had a couple of sort of race modded Lambos with a transport truck, but I saw it one week. I didn't have any money, and then when I went back the week after, it didn't look like they'd got any. But I just like kept scooting around on shelf. I'm like, no way, there were loads when I was here before. There must be some fucking left, and there was just one. I think there were 2 of them Lambo gift packs at the back of the shelf. You know, like underneath other stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the track day one, so I'm assuming because that one was $4.99 and the track day one was $3.99. So I think maybe the track day one's gone quicker because, you know, we've been 6 week holidays. Kids all gone like, oh, Mum, can I have? Mum, can I have? And like, oh, fucking £3, yeah, here, you know, sort of thing. But Own Bargains have got the Black Series stuff in again. They got what did they have? I got the flame. They've got a flame trooper, Finn in his stormtrooper armor.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other 2, but it will basically. It's like I looked and they've got Phasma, Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the other. I think it was Jyn Erso or something like that. And it's like, well, I'm not bothered about Phasma because I've got the 3-inch.
Very wasted character, really.
Yeah, I've got a 3-inch Phasma, and he's not really that good a character. It was a completely wasted character. Not bothered about Jyn Erso.
Did you ever watch The Last Jedi? Sorry.
Did
you ever watch The Last Jedi? Did you ever watch The Last Jedi, Carl?
Yes, I have.
What do you think to it?
How many words would you like me to describe it in?
3.
Absolutely fucking shite. Yeah, they were. One of the things I found out about it was, you know, and I don't care if this is spoilers because everybody should have fucking watched it by now. But when the Admiral Gender Studies turns the main ship around and then basically takes it to light speed and smashes the First Order dreadnought in half. That was supposed to be Admiral Akbar that did that, not Admiral Gender Studies. And they changed it for two reasons. One, they had to write in Admiral Gender Studies as a character to kind of, sort of fill in the gaps with Carrie Fisher dying.
Yeah.
And Admiral Akbar was supposed to die in the film anyway, and the idea was that Admiral Akbar would stay behind on the main ship and then, sacrifice himself to save everybody that had managed to escape. And somebody pointed out, they said that, if Admiral Akbar does a suicide run, people are going to be memeing, like fucking Allah Akbar and stuff like that. And that's literally the reason why you don't see, it's like they say Admiral Akbar dies in the film, but you don't see him, he dies off screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Pathetic. And the other thing I pointed out as well when I wrote about it with my mate, and, we talked about it on some streams and stuff, is that wouldn't work anyway, because in Star Wars, the ships, when they go to light speed, they basically drop into hyperspace. So going to light speed would mean that the ship would just literally blink out of existence and wouldn't damage the enemy ship anyway. It's like that. That's why they didn't do the that's why they didn't do the chase at light speed, because the rebel ship didn't have enough power to get up to and it was just going max out on normal sublight engines. And the could have jumped to light speed and got in front of them and then finished the chase off at any time, but they didn't. It's one of the plot holes in the entire film. But yeah. But hopefully the next film will be better.
Sam's gone again, is he?
Yeah, he disappeared again. Yeah, he keeps coming in and dropping back out again. I wonder if he's got a dodgy connection.
His webcam. Yeah. He said his webcam's stopped working. So
I think these atmospheric conditions have slowed my internet down.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was thundering and lightning here one day last week, and I didn't have any. I tell a lie. I say I didn't have any problems when I was using normal internet. But at the time though, I was sat playing Division, and I got me, me and mate had planned a raid, and about 5 minutes into raid on one of missions, I suddenly saw a flash of lightning in the sky, and then I couldn't get back on it. It was literally like I restarted fucking Xbox and fucking, turn it off, turn it back on again, unplugging it, and shit like that. And I thought, fuck's sakes, that better not have blown my Xbox. But it was something to do with thing. For some reason, it just would not reconnect to Xbox Live, even though normal internet will work. It just wouldn't reconnect to Xbox Live. I'll say I missed out on. I missed out on doing this week's Division global event. They've had a global event week, and I missed out on.
Hi, buddy. You all right, Sam?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, my webcam decided to die. I just had to update the software. It's working all right now.
I'm going to say, because it's still not showing your camera, it's just showing you still.
Hang on a sec.
Probably got to tell it to look for your webcam again, and then it'll come up and probably say something like, "Oh, this version of the software is not recognised by the browser," or some shit like that. I don't know.
no, Sam just looks like HAL 9000 now.
That makes no sense. Hangout can't use a selected camera without a working camera. It does work.
Yeah, it's because the software's updated, and now it's. Have you restarted your computer?
No.
That might do it then. It might, because if you've just done basic like a dynamic update, normally you'd have to do a restart in order for your computer to like go, oh yeah, yeah,
I'll do it later. You can hear me. That's all that matters.
Yeah. But the last Star Wars film was just arse. Well, put it this way: when you've got even Mark Hamill saying it were crap, you know that you've done something wrong. And it's like the saying, "Oh, for the next one, it's going to have Carrie Fisher in via archive footage, and Billy D. Williams will make a comeback as Lando Calrissian." Which, let's be fair, Billy D. Williams back as Lando Calrissian is a good thing. But they're probably going to write him as being fucking gay Lando, like what was in fucking Solo. It's a shame because Lando Calrissian is one of the best characters in Star Wars.
I mean, the whole
he wasn't introduced.
Fisher thing with the archive footage, they confirmed that last year, didn't they? I mean, after she died, they pretty much confirmed that they'd be using archive footage in the final film.
Oh no! When she died, when she died, they said she was going to still be in the Last Jedi. They weren't going to just eliminate the character and then what they call. They were going to keep her in it because she'd already filmed just about everything, but they were going to have to change the storyline to accommodate the bits that she hadn't done, which is why we ended up with Admiral Gender Studies. And but what bits they have got left of her, what bits that they haven't used, they're going to use that in the next film. I'm not quite sure how. And they're gonna use that and still have her in the final film. And I remember reading somewhere it said something like maybe Mark Hamill's going to be in it as well. Which, well, you can have him as a Force ghost.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah, the Force ghost. But the way that they dealt with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi was just fucking retarded. It's like, I did like the bit though with the what they call it, where they had just Luke Skywalker stood on his own against all the all the Imperial guys, and it's like everybody fire on that spot, and then it's just basically they annihilate the fucking spot, and then he just walks out of the dust cloud and just sort of like was like, oh, that was pretty good, but the rest of the film was just shy.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of I like The Last Jedi, but the reason why I think a lot of people boycotted Solo was just because of how bad The Last Jedi was. A lot of people didn't go and see it.
Yeah, people, yeah.
I like Solo. Solo's good.
Yeah, dear. It's, what they call it, it's, The Last Jedi was crap, and then when they announced they'd made all these, snowflakey additions to the story of Solo, people just went, yeah. I mean, bloody hell, it's, there's actually been a line of Solo toys, the what they call it, the 3 3/4 figures, stuff like that. I've not seen any in shops. Yeah, not seen any at all in shops because nobody wanted to touch it. It was before the film even come out, everybody knew it was going to be shy, and it wasn't going to be a very good film. And
have you watched?
No, I haven't seen Solo yet. I could have watched it the other week. I seen that there was an half decent bag cam copy floating about, but I thought, no, I'll wait until it comes out properly before I watch it, because the only problem with bag cam, it's like, yeah, you do get to see the film early, but it never comes out right, or you end up with fucking films that's got like half its screens took up with fucking Arabic subtitles or whatever. But it's the only reason why I know that there was a Solo toy line was, I can't remember who it was that posted something on it was on Facebook, and it was a radio station had been given like about 4 or 5 full sets of all the Solo toys and everything like that, and they were giving them away in a just a phone-in competition, and it was just like, bloody hell. And at this time the film hadn't even come out, and there was already giving away the fucking toys for prizes in a competition, loads, just the entire range. It's like to buy each one, to buy the entire range, which you're probably talking, I don't know, maybe a couple £100. So they're giving away a couple £100 worth of stuff to, like, fucking arse end of nowhere FM to give out as prizes. And then the only other advert I ever saw for it was, I think it was a Renault advert. They had a series of adverts on telly with some sort of, was it Renault something or other, people carrier or SUV or something like that, and they were sponsoring that. And it's like, but I've not seen no adverts on, Solo at cinemas now or like that. Just, oh, this is an advert for a crappy Renault people carrier, and this is sponsored by Solo, a Star Wars story. Yeah.
I mean, for personal opinion, I like The Last Jedi. I don't really have anything against it, but I personally stick by the fact that
Just give me 1 second to get my Death Note.
Oh, great! I doing it once. You can't do it again.
Yeah. No, it's the problem is the compound failure between you started off with The Last Jedi, and then Solo, and because of that they've now cancelled the Boba Fett film, because it's like they've said there, it's like Rogue. You know, as the side stories, you know, it's like Rogue One. Rogue One was all right. I quite enjoyed Rogue One. It's it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, it's a bugger that in Rogue One the best character in it is the fucking robot. You know, but you know, and it's like, so Rogue One was all right, and then they were like, you know, yeah, Rogue One's done quite good, so we'll do another one, and we'll do a story. We'll do a story about, you know, Han Solo before we met him in, you know, A New Hope, and they managed to fuck that up. And it's not, you know, it's hard. Hard for that. They really.
What I know is that the Obi-Wan film. They are still apparently. I think the Obi-Wan film anthology film is in production.
Nope. The next film was supposed to be Boba Fett. It was supposed to be Boba Fett and then Obi-Wan, but they've cancelled the Boba Fett film, and along with it, I think they have cancelled the Obi-Wan film, or at least they've put them on the back burner until they find out, you know, actually find a director who, you know, didn't vote Hillary. Yeah. But yeah, it was.
I mean, I'd really like to see a Boba Fett film, because I like to know, you know, I want fans really like the character. I mean, he didn't get much screen time, but he was a very popular character. Yeah.
It's Boba Fett. Is, you know, they could easily do a film about Boba Fett, and people would love to go and see it. People would really, you know, to fill in the gap between what they call it, you know, when Jango Fett gets killed in Episode 2, and you know, when we first meet him in Empire Strikes Back. You know, they could fill in that gap, and you know, and people would like to see it. The only problem with that being is that they've got to do it properly. You know, they can't just slop something onto the screen like they did with Solo, because that's, you know, Solo. They had a chance there. It's like, right, we can introduce a young Han Solo and a young Lando Calrissian, and you know, all stuff like that. You know, it's going to be action and you know, adventure, and they fucked it up because they were pushing narratives, and people wouldn't want to see a Boba Fett film where, you know, it's like, oh well, you know, they'll really play up on the young Boba witnessed his father getting killed by the Jedi, and so he doesn't like the Jedi. They'll really play that.
I mean, they did actually. He did, but young Boba Fett did come back in the Clone Wars series for a bit.
Yeah, he did.
He was out for revenge on Mace Windu.
Yeah. Yeah, he what they call it? It before he didn't have his what they call it? He didn't have his armor. That it was just like a gang leader sort of thing. But yeah, they'll. That's what I say, from filling in from that point up to, you know, Empire Strikes Back. You know, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's been God knows how many, you know, books and comics about Boba Fett. But the problem is, it's like they're saying, oh yeah, basically anything from Extended Universe that was written before Disney took over, we're just ignoring now. Apart from the bits that we know will get people coming in, like including Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, you know, stuff like that. And you know, they quite like doing that, you know, picking out the stuff that they know that people come and see. But you know, all the other stuff, it's like, well, we don't want to have to pay the authors or the creators for that material. I mean, they're already on about doing. I remember seeing something already on about doing a thing set after this trilogy of films. You know, You know, they're doing episode 7, 8, 9. They're already about doing like episode 10, 11, and 12.
Oh yeah, they've pretty much confirmed. Disney have pretty much confirmed that they're going to be making Star Wars films for at least the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's the same, isn't it? Because all it is now for Disney
Money.
is really a cash cow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think back to
that's all
back in the 70s.
About.
It's like back in the 70s, the first Star Wars film, Star Wars Episode 4, was like a breakthrough in the industry. And you had this record-breaking trilogy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and people, you know, had so much respect for the franchise because they were great films. And obviously, yes, they sold a lot of merchandise because, you know, the things in it were cool. But it was a great film. You know, it was a great franchise. And then obviously 20 years later, George Lucas did the special editions, remastering them, putting lots of CGI and reshooting
Really didn't have to do that.
And then
I don't know. I like the special editions. It's like I say, some of the things that they put in, you know, to the Star Wars special editions, you know, updated effects and stuff like that, have made it better for me. You know, you get the nostalgia ones like, oh well, I preferred it when, you know, I preferred it when the you know, the X-wings were taking off from, you know, fucking Yavin's moon or whatever, and there were just dots of light on the screen instead of being like you could properly see the X-wings and stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, that's fine, but it looks better to be able to see the X-wings taking off properly instead of just being dots of light, you know. Yeah, there's some bits of the special editions where it's gone a bit too far, like the extended band scene in Return of the Jedi. That's taking it a bit too far. You know,
I mean, there's also the special edition extended of A New Hope, and you know, in the Mos Eisley scene, he packed it full of CGI aliens.
Yeah, that took it a bit too far. You know, there were
aliens walking around the screen.
Yeah, just a couple of extra, you know, creatures or whatever in the background would have been fun, but not to like you did where you put like fucking 70 in one screen.
And then obviously he redid the cutscene with Han Solo going to, you know, Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That, because it's like I said, the original thingy was that Jabba the Hutt was a human, and
I know.
Yeah, and then they had to figure out how can we make it so that it looks like the big slug thing, and that was great how they did that. I really like that, and then they've updated that effect as well, because the original one was okay effects for the time it was made, but then over time the effects have gone a bit dodgy, so they've kept that up to date and made it, you know, up to modern standards, which is good. But that's what I say. It's putting too much into some of them. You know, hopefully they'll stop fiddling with the originals now. But then again, at the same time they were doing the Star Wars special editions, they went back and did a lot of the others as well. You know, like THX 1138 got a special edition. You know, and some of it was.
And then Disney started doing it. Disney started doing it. You know, when they all re-released their classics.
Yeah, but they've never re-released Song of the South. I wonder why.
We all know why.
I'm thinking that, and then obviously after the special editions is when when Star Wars Episode 1 was announced. I mean,
yeah,
which turned out not to be very. I think the prequels.
Yeah, episode 1 was disappointing. Episode 2 was all right, and everybody goes on about like episode 2 being the worst, and it's like no, it's good. It sets up the Clone Wars, and then you've got episode 3, which is several years after episode 2, so it gives you a nice bit in between for there to be Clone Wars. But they're doing another series of Clone Wars, aren't they?
Well, they're doing one season from what I've heard, and it's basically just going to finish it off because everybody knows how it's going to end because the script has already been released a couple of years ago, but it's basically going to take place during Order 66, so you're going to get to see what Ahsoka was doing, what was going on with her during Order 66, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about it though, because I was really hoping to get to see Ahsoka's final part of the story. It was all scripted. It just never did it.
Yeah. Well, no,
I know that she left the Jedi Order.
Well, I know she left the Jedi Order, mate. They basically pissed on her and said, we're going to abandon you and leave you to the wolves. And then afterwards, when it was proven she was innocent, they said, you know what? We're sorry. Come back to her. And she was just like, no, screw you lot. I'm leaving.
Well, no, Ahsoka Tano was in Star Wars Rebels.
But I mean, she left the Jedi Order because they screwed her over. Yeah.
She basically became a grey Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love her in Rebels. She's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the scene where she died, where she fights off Darth Vader and she sacrifices herself.
She doesn't.
Neither of them died, do they?
No. It's what they call it. Ezra uses the Force portal to time travel. It takes him through into a place where you can more or less time travel, and it brings him out during the fight with Darth Vader, and the both escape. But yeah, so I say it's I what they call it. I knew it when it said there the final 3 episodes of the last series of Rebels, and I thought it was supposed to come out in June this year, but it didn't. It came out in May, so I've been sat around waiting for it, and it had already been out 2 months. And it's like, oh shit, so I had to sit and watch it, and the final bits of the final episodes of Rebels is really good. Ezra doesn't get a very good ending, but it does leave it open for him to come back.
I think they'll definitely discuss what happens to him. Is it Star Wars Resistance, the next one they're doing?
I've no idea. Well, it does leave it open for him to come back, because he.
I mean, supposedly both the series Clone Wars and Rebels. I mean, Disney still say that they're canon. Well, Rebels is fully Disney made, so but they still said Clone Wars is canon with it. So how they fitting
all the films. It's all the films. Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Star Wars Rebels are the canon now. They're basically doing it, like Star Trek says, it's only canon if it's been on the telly or in films.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing with Star Wars. They're basically saying that as long as it's in the films or on the telly, it's canon.
So basically, if it's a comic book, a graphic novel, a book, whatever, it's not canon.
No, unless it's an official tie-in.
Right.
An official tie-in. So all those comics from the sort of late 90s, early 2000s that were Star Wars that everybody fucking loved, gone. All the books from Star Wars that basically it was the Thrawn trilogy that set off interest in Star Wars again in the mid 90s, gone. But they've kept Admiral Thrawn for some reason. Kept Admiral Thrawn because he was a really, really popular character, and it's like getting rid of him would be like getting rid of, I don't know, Boba Fett or something,
Yeah.
But it's speaking of Star Trek, have you seen what they call it?
Patrick Star's coming back.
Yep, that's really good, and it can also be really bad at the same time, because that's what I say. It's Series 2 of Discovery starts after Christmas, and judging by Series 1 of Discovery, it's going to be awful.
Oh yeah, I'm not really a fan of Discovery.
Yeah, but then it's like, say, if they're doing a new series with Picard in it, what's it going to be like? Because the standard for Star Trek now has been defined by Discovery, and they're going to have to work very, very hard to get the standard back up. Because, like I said, the last Star Trek, the last TNG film, Nemesis, was crap. The Abrams vs. Star Trek films are non-canon because they take place within their own universe, so they're only canon to themselves.
Yeah.
And they were not very good. Interesting, but not very good. So what they're going to do with whatever they're going to do with the new Picard series, I don't know whether it's going to be set on the Enterprise E and follow some of the storylines as laid out in Star Trek Online. I don't know. It would be nice. It would be nice if they did that, if they had the Typhon Pact and stuff. But you just have to wait and see on that fucker.
Yeah. All right. I'll be back in a sec. I'm just gonna go and have a fag.
Aye.
See you in a moment.
Yeah. Carl, I
Yeah.
just realised there was something I wanted to mention to you, because I've been checking out your YouTube channel recently.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what the video was called, but that video you did where you were covering that really weird pseudo-lesbian group that like to wrestle and scream.
Oh, yeah. That were a long time ago.
That was like the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's I believe a good way of describing it would be mutton dressed as lamb. Basically, we're here to do, like be active, activists and whatever, and they're not activists at all. They're just a load of lesbians, groping each other and stuff like that. And trying to dress it up. It's like I said in the video. It's performance art, but it's done for the gratification of those that have organised it.
I mean, as I said, I watched it and I know you explained it in the video, but I failed to understand, how can you justify that as a form of protest when you're locked away in a building somewhere and the only people that know about it are you that attend it, and the only other people that know about it are all the bored husbands sat at the back on the phones because they're bored.
Yeah. It's just basically all it is. It'd just be the same if I organised a fucking nude women only nude baked bean wrestling club.
Yeah.
Basically, I get them all to fucking wrestle around naked in baked beans while I sit there and go like, yeah, it's helping women get out and get exercise and feel more confident. As I like quickly get the hand cream and tissues out. That's all it is. It's just what they call it. It's just done for gratification of them that have organised it.
Yeah.
They've got people there, and it's basically using quote unquote feminism to basically get the rocks off.
Yeah, the problem is, I know there's they're having issues in Australia at the moment with some like very weird feminist groups that are practically trying to introduce the reverse of Sharia law. Yeah.
Well, no, they're not trying to introduce the reverse of Sharia law. They're trying to introduce Sharia law. I mean, there's Lauren Southern's been in Australia this past couple of weeks, and she went down to what's basically a Muslim area in, I can't remember whereabouts, but while she's there, she said, she's just wandering around saying, we're going to interview people on the street and stuff like that, walk around the area. And police basically told her to leave the area because they didn't want to criticise an Islam down there because it might cause a breach of the peace. And it's like she said to the cop, she says, who's going to be causing the breach of the peace, though? Will it be me or will it be them? And the cop has like stood there, is like, and it's like, yeah, it's going to be them that caused the breach of the peace because she's just walking around, looking around the area and talking to people if they want to talk to her, whereas they are going to be, fucking attacking her and everything like that. And it's like she said right at the end of the thing, she says, as far as I'm concerned, this area is conquered land. It's under Sharia law.
Yeah, I wasn't on about that. There's some feminist who's saying that there should be a curfew on all men.
Yeah, that's just the standard bollocks that they come out with, though. Oh, men shouldn't be allowed out after 9 o'clock at night. It's like, oh well, fair enough, but if men aren't allowed out after 9 o'clock at night, then it's, when men who decide to break the law and go out after 9 o'clock at night go out mugging people and stuff. All the male police officers that aren't allowed to be out at 9 o'clock at night won't be there to help you. It's one of them things, it's like, when they say, you should really think about what you're saying before you say it, sort of thing. It's one of them moments. It's like with the New York Times when they've taken this what they call Sarah Jong or someone who is racist against white people, and they say no, it's not racism because she's thingy, and it's like maybe the New York Times should think about what they're saying before they say it. They're just taking her on to be edgy. But Candice Owens has basically taken some of her worst tweets and replaced the word white with either black or Jews. Yeah. And apparently Twitter's put her in Twitter jail for 24 hours or something because she's retweeted, She put, was it, all white people need to live underground like the snivelling goblins they are, or something like that. So Candice Owens, who's black, by the way, changed that to say, why can't all black people live underground like the snivelling goblins they are? And Twitter's banned her for being racist. And it's like, well, she's black, and the thing she put was black, so, you know, she's been racist against herself. But I thought black people couldn't be racist. It's like, you've got to make your mind up.
Basically, what Twitter's saying is stating that all white people should be living underground isn't racist, but saying black people should live underground is racist.
Yeah, even when it's said by a black person. So if black people can be racist, then can, you know, I mean, this Sarah Jong, she's was it Chinese American or something? So you know, can Chinese Americans be racist now or not? You know, it's stupid. Everybody can be fucking racist. You know, when they go like, oh, it's about power plus privilege. It's like, well, Sarah Jong is now one of the senior editors at the New York Times. I'm a white bloke who's, you know, a fucking cripple and a spastic and, you know, unemployable because of it. How much privilege and power do I have over Sarah Jong? You know, because I think you'll find it's none.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the whole white male privilege crap. I mean,
yeah, it is because it's crap.
I mean, I'm 29 years old. I still live with my parents, and I'm working in a very low-paid job.
Yeah. You know? Well, the best signifier of the whole sort of fucking white privilege thing was the picture of two well-dressed women off outfit night walking past a homeless man who's asleep on a wall, and it says, you know, basically you've got to, if you believe in male privilege, explain this. Yeah. You know, why the man is homeless and looks scruffy and everything. He's having to sleep on a wall, whereas you've got two women wearing, you know, fashionable clothing, short skirts, and they're off out for a drink in the evening. You know, who's got the more privilege there? Because it ain't the guy asleep on the fucking wall or park bench or whatever.
No, it's a load of crap in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It's not even your opinion. It's fact. It's crap. You know, it don't matter. You know, it's like when people say, "Oh, well, that's just your opinion." It's like, well, no. In this case, it's not an opinion. It's fucking truth. I mean, there was that thing I read the other week where it said, "Oh, the truth." Apparently, the truth is now just a symbol and a tool of white supremacy. It's like, so telling the truth is racist.
You take all this into account, Carl. You've got to think to yourself, what the hell will the world be like in 100 years' time?
Hopefully, fucking all this shit will have been killed off by then. You know, hopefully within the next couple of years. I mean, it's like they're saying the younger generation are now more conservative than, you know, ever before. You don't get to hear about it because obviously, you know, places like the BBC and stuff like that don't show you this. But
loads of stuff the BBC don't talk about.
Oh yeah, the BBC and whatever don't show you this, but the younger generation are a lot more, you know, conservative thinking than what they are fucking snowflakey. But you only get to hear about the idiot snowflakes because they quite happily allow them to appear on TV and spout wherever bollocks it is that they spout. And, you know, nobody else is allowed to say because, you know, they don't want to be racist or whatever. Even though half the time when they complain about stuff like that, it's not people being racist. It's people giving facts as they are. In fucking hell, it's when you get what they call it, saying that Ben Shapiro's a Nazi. It's like, Ben Shapiro's a Nazi, is he? Well, you know, I always thought he was Jewish, so that might be a bit hard. You know, stuff like that. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's like Milo Yiannopoulos is homophobic. It's like, really? Because he's married to a gay black man. You know, he's not a very good racist or a homophobe, is he, if he's married to a gay black man?
Well, I call the crap that apparently Obama wasn't born in America.
Oh yeah, that was a load of shit. That the birthers and stuff. I mean, you've got what they call it, Tommy Robinson, been released from prison this week, and it basically has been found, like I said all along. It's like Tommy didn't help himself by falling into the trap that they set for him, but what they did to him, you know, basically locking him up in prison for notes. It does turn out that has been a miscarriage of justice. and the what they call it, the prison service have not helped themselves by getting basically an anonymous statement's been released supposedly by the prison service saying that all this stuff is said about his experiences while he's been in prison is a lie, when Tommy's family have got letters from them confirming everything that he's said so far. It's like Tommy said there, he says, I've been kept in solitary the entire time I was there. They said, no, he's never been in solitary, apart from a letter that they sent to his family on the 8th of June that said he's in solitary. So there, he's not being allowed to socialise with any of the other prisoners. He's not been allowed to do, like exercise periods and things like that while he's been in prison. He's been denied, having a telly and whatnot. Visiting has been his prison visits were reduced to 2 hours a month. It's like they say, they basically wanted him off the streets and they wanted to keep him in as inhumane conditions as possible to try and shut him up, and it's not worked.
I'll be frank, I have absolutely no love for Tommy Robinson. I absolutely hate him.
No, it's like I said to the thing the other day. It's a couple of years ago, if you would have told me that I would agree with anything Tommy Robinson says, I'd have laughed at you. But as time goes on, it's turned out that it's like all stuff they were coming out with when you were a member at EDL were a load of bollocks. But since he's split himself off from them, and he's got rid of all the the racist stuff associated with them, it's whenever he speaks, he's spot on. He's absolutely fucking spot on when he starts talking. And this is the thing it's because it's uncomfortable. They don't like it because he's showing up. It's like, they're letting Muslims off with doing things that they wouldn't let white people off with. It's like, say, all the grooming gangs and things like that. If it were white men doing it, that have got them straight away and that have locked them up and paraded them around in front of press and said, these filthy, dirty bastards and everything. Because it's Muslims, they've gone, oh well, we have to be careful because we don't want to be, racist or anything. It's like it's a crime. It's the same crime. It's just that it's endemic within your culture that sort of thing happens a lot more often than what it does with ours.
No, I get that, mate. The thing is, when he did that live thing outside the courts, and he was talking about the ongoing court case, that is illegal, isn't it? That's contempt.
No, yes and no. He wasn't supposed to be reporting on anything outside the court. However, as he's pointed out, and as he's rightly pointed out, as it turns out, everything that he was saying had already been said by the BBC. It's literally everything. The only thing he did wrong was he decided to stand outside the courtroom and say it instead of sitting in the BBC studio and saying it.
Right, so effectively, if he'd been in any other place but there, he wouldn't have been arrested. Yeah.
He fell for the fucking trap. They knew, because that was his style. He goes down to the courts. They know that's what he does. He does the the proper sort of what do you call it? I'd hesitate to call it investigative journalism. Like what Roger Cook and that used to do. They go to the places and they confront and talk about it, at the place where it happened. He kind of does that. And they knew he would do it. So it's just literally, and then it's, it's like they said there, they've got video footage of the judge, basically stood watching him out the window and then calling for the police to go and get him. And it's the police that originally arrested him on breach of the peace, which was bollocks. Because he's not caused a breach of the peace at all. And then they whisked him off to court and did him with, breaching his bail conditions by reporting on a case that wasn't supposed to be reported on. And he's based, like I say, it was a trap they set for him, and he was stupid enough to fall for it.
I'll be 100% honest here. I will never ever like the man purely on the grounds that I can never get over the whole EDL movement with him, because the EDL movement did more damage than good.
Oh yeah.
I personally think.
The problem with the EDL is it sort of grew out of the whole football, football lads
hooligans.
Yeah, a lot of it is hooligans, and it still is. The EDL is still going, but it's not as prominent as what it was because, in Tommy, with having Tommy Robinson as a leader, he was a charismatic public speaker.
Yeah,
and they've lost him, so all they've got left now really is the people that were under him, and and let's face it, football hooligans aren't really the most charismatic and well-spoken people.
No.
So they're thinking, but then you've got your even worse stuff than that, like your Britain First and all stuff.
Oh yeah, they're awful.
I mean, it's like they say, what they call her, Jada Franson, and the other guy, Paul Summer. They're in prison in Ireland now. As far as
what about that neo-Nazi group?
Which one?
I forget the name. They were a British-based one. One of them's been freed recently, and apparently he may still be active within the group, even though it's like been banned and made illegal. There was talk about it in the news about a week or two ago. I can't remember the name of the group.
I can't say I've heard of that one. The only thing I can think of when you say like neo-Nazi group is like Combat 18. But as far as I know, Combat 18's been gone for fucking years. But I can't say I've heard about that. But I mean, but like I said, like Britain First. What they call him, Jada Franson, and that's in prison in Ireland. And there's enough reasons to say yes, they do belong in prison for being dickheads, basically. But at the same time, with like with Tommy Robinson's case, there's enough to say, realistically, what's happened is it's been like a fit up, a kangaroo court sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people aren't as bothered about people aren't as bothered about them as what they are with Tommy Robinson, because quite frankly, Britain First has less support than what Tommy Robinson does, and it is weird. But the thing is though, with that, it's with them, it's still a what they call it, a miscarriage of justice. It doesn't matter whether you agree with the people or not. It's if the law is being abused in order to serve a counter narrative, then there's something needs to be done about it. I mean, the judge that did Tommy Robinson's case has been criticised basically for not judging fairly. Having a gender-driven judgment. The Chief Justice of this country has said that this judge has basically, it's a miscarriage of justice. He's abused the law in order to push a narrative. And that shouldn't happen. The law is set in such a way that it's supposed to be fair, but in this case, it's not been used fairly. And I don't know. It's like the saying there, along with people like Count Dankula and that having to spend fucking God knows how long with his court case. And I know when I was watching Dankula's live stream the other week when he said when he got thinking, he said he was going to appeal against the decision that had been made against him. But from what he said on one of his live streams the other day, I don't think he's going to do it now. Because he says, I can't really say that much about it. He said the problem was after I made the announcement that I was going to appeal the decision that had been made at the end of the court case, people were sending like death threats to the judge and stuff. So I don't know whether he's going to still do the appeal but not have any coverage of it, or whether he's going to drop it altogether. Because it would be nice if he did do the appeal, because the verdict in that case needs overturning as soon as possible. Because it's basically giving him like a clean slate to lock people up. Or
to be honest, Carl, I don't actually know who you're talking about. I don't know.
The Nazi pug guy.
Oh, him, right.
Yeah, Count Dankula, yeah. That's what I say. He got off. He what they call it, after, what was it, 2.5, nearly 3 years of being fucked about by the police and the courts. They charged him with sending a grossly offensive message and fined him £800. And they said there it's 2.5, nearly 3 years for that. For him to then be told, you shouldn't have made a joke. So it's like, say, if they're gonna they're gonna now send people to prison for jokes. It's like, nope, sorry, that's not happened.
Yeah, and on the other hand, you get people like Anita Zakenzian who shows up to the UN because people have been disagreeing with her.
So she's done something else again recently, but nobody's interested in her anymore.
Yeah, true.
Nobody's interested in her anymore. I mean, she. I can't remember it where she said something about the other week, and people just basically told her to go fuck herself.
I didn't even know she was still.
Zoe, yeah, you've had Zoe Quinn trying to gain relevance again. What was it? Apparently Elon Musk said they were looking for people to develop games, because the Tesla cars have got a built-in like computer or something, and they were saying they were looking for some people to make some games for the computers in the cars. And Zoe Quinn said like, "Oh, hire me or you're a coward," And it's like I said there. I said no. She seems to think that he's looking for what Elon Musk wants is a game developer, not a lame developer, And it's all people like that have just completely faded away. Nobody's interested in what they've got to say anymore because they've proven themselves to be fucking idiots.
Yeah, I would agree on that. I didn't even realise Anita Zucchini was even still around. I thought she just.
Oh yeah, she's still going. She's still going. She's got she's been doing videos on, still doing stuff on that feminist frequency. But they've lost. It seems to me, I don't know whether they have. They've lost the guy that was bankrolling them. So they're now having to basically survive via donations only because they've got nobody who really wants to advertise with them anymore. So they've basically gone like Patreon and donations only. I know they begged for, what was it, $25,000. They said if you give us $25,000, we'll open a Discord server.
It's free to do a Discord server.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people are saying there. It don't cost you not to set up a Discord server. So what's the $25,000 for? And they've been doing it. She's got a couple of new playmates in her recent videos. There's her still. There's a big fat black woman, and then they've got I don't know, it's a male to female transsexual that, seriously, this trans woman looks like my mate if he was wearing a blonde wig. It literally is that bad. And the stuff that they're saying is just the old same retarded shit that it's like as soon as you hear him say you can't stop laughing for 20 minutes.
You might know because man, I only know what was on at the time, but is Zara Joshi still around?
Nope, she's disappeared as well. Thank fuck.
That didn't surprise me.
Yeah, she's had her 15 minutes. I think the end came for her when what they call it, the humongous guy said he'd got cancer and he needed money to, he asked if people wouldn't mind lending him, not giving him, lending him money to get the treatment. And she decided to go to the thing and said that she hoped he died and stuff like that. And I think that's when people went, yeah, fuck you, to her. Except the hardcore ones, the hardcore fans that had, she could command them to eat the peanuts out of the shit and they'd do it. And but she's faded away.
Fair enough. Doesn't surprise me, really. She only gained fame because of that humongous video, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, and the only reason why she gained fame was because people were laughing at her. Yeah. Because quite literally everything that she ever said or did was fucking ridiculous. And then she tried to, milk it for as much as it worth. And
yeah, didn't she try and try and raise a load of money for some weird reason?
Probably.
Where she was saying she needed money to protect herself from the hierarchy or something.
So I don't fucking know. I know she did that thing where she said police were following her around and harassing her and stuff like that. Oddly enough, it turned out to be a complete lie, as these things usually do. But yeah, the weird thing is, it's like you get these people and they have their, they come to prominence in some fashion. I mean, Anita is the archetype of it. They come to prominence in some fashion, and then the next thing they're asking for large amounts of money. But then as they continue asking for money and more money, the stuff that they say just gets more and more ridiculous, and they start doing less and less.
Yeah,
to earn this money, and they all do it. It's all you got to do is look back at the people that have risen to prominence on the back of this feminism thing.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Anita Sarkeesian, you've got Brianna Wu, you've got Zoe Quinn, you've got Zana Joshi. You know, all these people have had the 15 minutes, and in that 15 minutes, they've basically done nothing but ask for money.
Well, yeah, because I know with Anita Sarkeesian, her entire premise was, you know, give me money, I'll do this big women versus video games thing, and she did 3 of the videos, and she was meant to do 12.
And she's never done it.
Yeah, she did 3, and then apparently, from what I gathered, the videos in question she did do were done before she started asking for money.
Yeah, she did some, and then she did some, and then asked for money, and then I think she did a couple more after she'd asked for money, and she said, you know, like the money is going to be put towards like research and upgrading production values. And then I think it was Thunderfoot that pointed out, because this is a video of her before she asked for money, and it was just like, you know, a green screen background, a static camera, and then her stood in front of the camera wearing her hooped earrings and a stripy shirt. And then after she'd asked for money, it was just basically the same. There wasn't even a new camera or anything. You know, so
I know that Thunderfoot, he actually, because I've watched his video actually where he's talking about her. I'm pretty sure he actually proves that all the video footage she uses.
Oh yeah.
It's
not only him. I mean, I haven't watched any of Thunderfoot stuff for a long time now, because he lost credibility as well when he during the Brexit thing, he decided to start dipping his foot first into, you know, talking about Muslims, and then he dipped his toe into the you know, Brexit thing, even though he doesn't live in this country anymore. And he pissed a hell of a lot of people off, and he's kind of faded away a bit as well. He's gone back to doing mainly just science videos now, which is what he's good at and what he should stick to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've got your people that are big at the minute. You know, you've still got Sargon, you've got like Paul Joseph Watson, who, even though I don't like Paul Joseph Watson that much, to be honest, I don't really, but you've got to admit sometimes when he says certain things, he's spot on with it.
Oh yeah, I would agree on that, Carl, and I do watch him now and then. The thing with me, in my opinion, with Paul Joseph Watson, are 2 things. As you say, he does get things spot on a lot, not sometimes, but on the other side of things, I always ask myself, why the hell do you associate with that madman Alex Jones?
Yeah, Alex Jones, yeah. They're turning the freaking frogs gay. Yeah, they're putting chemicals in water to turn the freaking frogs gay. Frogs gay. Frogs gay. They turn the freaking frogs gay.
Yeah, he's getting sued, isn't he, at the moment? For all the
he is. And as his solicitors quite rightly pointed out, if you take Alex Jones seriously on things like that, then, you know, it's not our fault you get upset, which is true.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who takes Alex Jones seriously has got something fucking wrong with them. Oh, fucking hell. We're starting to get to that period of night now where it's starting to get uncomfortably warm.
Yeah, it's a little bit cooler, but it's still humid.
Yeah. Now, say I've got me big window down there open, and there was a nice cool breeze coming through, but it's stopped now. So that's why I say it's starting to get a bit stuffy in here. I have to get the fan out again, I think. Oh, yeah, no else going off in the world, nothing of interest. I did get into an interesting argument the other day with somebody on Twitter when I said about, you know, they said about knife crime. It was actually the Metropolitan Police did a tweet, and they said about you know, knife crime rising in London, and you know, people shouldn't be carrying knives and stuff like that. And I just said, well, maybe if you did more stop and search, you know, you'd be able to get the people who are carrying knives before they actually commit any stabbings or anything like that with them. And some bloke's like, yeah, but how will that stop crime? And it's like, well, quite easy. I would have thought, it's guy has a knife, tucked into the waistband of his trousers, and later on he decides to stab somebody. However, if you stop him while he's acting suspiciously, find the knife and then arrest him, he can't stab that person. It's called proactive policing.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, and then this guy's like, yeah, but what happened till innocent until proven guilty? It's like, well, yeah, you're still innocent up until the point you're arrested.
Well, yeah, not to mention if you stop somebody searching, oh my God, why have you got this huge knife on you? You're literally going to be stopping a possible murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The problem is, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it Theresa May who pretty much stopped the stop and search thing?
No, it was the idiot who's the mayor of London.
Oh, Sadiq Khan.
Sadiq Khan, yeah. He actively said he was instructing police not to do stop and search anymore. And look, fucking crime has stabbings especially has tripled since that happened. And the other one as well, the current fashion for what they call it, moped robberies.
Oh, you mean the acid attacks?
No, mopeds. People driving around on mopeds. Basically, two guys sat on a moped. They drive around. One of them jumps off, mugs somebody, and then jump back on moped and they drive off. And police have been told that they're not allowed to chase them.
But they've committed a crime.
Yeah, I know.
So what do they do? Try and get the moped's license plate and hope they'll catch them, or?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I say, it's stopped them from chasing the what they call it, the guys on the moped, but there's no real plan as to what to do afterwards. It's like, yeah, right, we might get the number plate on the moped, but let's face it, half of them they just rip the fucking number plate off before they go out thieving. Or half the time the moped will turn up in a fucking, on some waste ground somewhere after being burnt out. It's like that. It's one of the things, like if police spot two guys on a moped, they should stop them and ask them, you're not really supposed to ride two person on one moped. It's not safe. What are you doing? Sort of thing. And if they go like, they're not likely to go, oh, well, we're going out thieving.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of these things. It's for some reason they're trying to turn the police, instead of doing proactive policing to prevent crime, they're turning them into doing reactive policing, which is just to, investigate and thingy crime. But a lot of crime can't be stopped like that. It's nice enough saying, we can do an investigation and find out who it is, but that's not much comfort to somebody who's just been fucking stabbed to death or had acid thrown in the face. And let's face it, the acid attacks are coming from a certain demographic of the population who are so peaceful.
Well, I'd say it's not all that demographic. I mean, remember, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was that awful attack on a 3-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Which was, if I remember correctly, was being discovered it was all orchestrated by his own father.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why, but it's not.
No idea why. Yeah, it's just one of the things. It's because it's a what they call it at the minute. It seems to be a popular way of getting, of getting to people at the minute. I mean, it's quite, it's always been quite hard to get a gun, so it's not like you can shoot people. But then again, you shoot somebody gets shot, even in this country, even when gun ownership was legal, it's still an unusual crime.
Yeah.
But acid attacks are on the up because of, like I said, the certain demographic.
And it is also, it is quite easy to actually buy knives. I mean, I know in places now, like younger people, they still do ID, even if they want to buy cutlery, like kitchen knives.
Yeah.
But you can go into like a store and and pick up a Swiss Army knife or a penknife. And
yeah, it's like I said, the law is that you have to be over 18 to buy a knife, and that's worked fine for years. There's not been any problem with that. Yes, there's still been people get stabbed, but that's because some people are just arseholes, and you can't legislate that away, And it's like when they were on about, we shouldn't be allowed to have knives that are sharp anymore. All knives should be blunt, and it's like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of having a fucking knife then, because you can't cut anything with it. What are you supposed to slice your fucking steak up with? A blunt knife? I might as well use my fucking cock. That's something that disappeared as well. The what they call it, wanting you to go to corner shop and buy a fucking porn license. That soon disappeared. I think that were a bit of silly season news.
Yeah, I remember that. It was just
fucking
ridiculous.
jizz tickets. Yeah. Oh mate, you got a license for that erection? All Americans I know still take piss out of us for that. You know, they'll say, you know, like, oh mate, have you got a license for that butter knife? You know, and shit like, oh. Mind you, that were police's fault again. That from that stupid tweet they did where they showed that picture of basically a blunt butter knife, and somebody went, "Yeah, that's not really going to be used in the stabbing, is it?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, but if you stab somebody with it, it's like a bayonet." It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, I'm really going to be able to hurt somebody with my butter knife.
Well, I can, you know, I don't even need. I can think of, you know, about, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 different ways I can kill somebody without having to use any weapon at all.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, you know, it's like I said, so, you know, all right, well, bant knives. You know, bant knives, because people can't be trusted and, you know, they might stab somebody. Not that they will stab somebody, that they might stab somebody. You know, so it's like, all right, bant knives. Obviously, then we have to ban forks because they're pointy as well. No, then we'd have to ban sporks because they're quite sharp if you know. Then we'd have to ban files and metal grinders because obviously you can use them to sharpen things up, you know. And it's like, where's it going to end, you know?
Yeah.
Ban water as well because I could, you know, like drown somebody in it. You know, it's a lot of bollocks. It's one of the things. Yeah, it's and this is the thing though, when you're banning all stuff like that, that's done on the basis that you think that because you make something illegal, people are going to stop doing it. It's like, no, it's illegal to murder people, you know, but people still get murdered. It's illegal to shoplift, but fucking magistrates courts all up and down the country have to fucking deal with shoplifters on a daily basis. You know, where's it going to end? You know, oh well, we make guns illegal. Oh, why are people still getting shot? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because criminals aren't particularly interested in obeying the law. That's why they're criminals. But if you let the police do their fucking jobs properly, then maybe you wouldn't have as many, you know. Just a thought. I mean, I know I'm old-fashioned, like, but, you know, maybe it's just a thought. Fucking hell. God, I'm dry as a fucking bone. Oh. I dozed off for a bit this afternoon, and I don't know why, but since then I'm drinking water. So I woke up, I've been drinking water, I've been drinking pop and stuff like that, and I'm just really thirsty. Oh,
it's the heat.
Yeah, it's probably the heat.
Yeah, because I think it dehydrates you very quickly.
Yeah,
you know,
especially when it's humid like this because of how close it is.
Yeah.
With the heat, there's one thing which is just ridiculous, to be frank. At work, the amount of customers that will state like, oh, "It's really hot in the store. Can't you do anything about it?" Well, no, we can't. Yeah, we can't do anything about the heat.
Yeah, man, you was it when I used to work at fucking BT, and it was red hot inside this bloody call centre thing that they got, and people would be saying like, you know, can we have the, you know, air conditioning on and things like that, and the guy that was on the reception desk, he says, well, he says, what I have to do to put the air conditioning on in the thingy centre is, he says, I have to send an assistance ticket to help desk, you know, he says, which is based in Birmingham or something like that, saying I need request permission to put the air conditioning on. He says, then I have to sit around and wait for an answer to that. He says, then when I get an answer to that, he says, which can be anything up to 2-3 hours. You know, he says, then I go put air conditioning on. It takes about an hour or so for it to start working properly. You know, it has to like get up to pressure and everything like that. He says, so you're talking 4 or 5 hours before air conditioning comes on. You know, place opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, so air conditioning don't come on till, you know, after dinner time. Where at that point, then it's people that started on day shift are getting ready for going home. You know, he says then you can't leave it on overnight. You have to shut it off overnight. Fucking pathetic. Or the places where they'll like go, oh yeah, we can't put air conditioning on because how much it costs. And it's like, well, it costs even more money when people won't come into the shop because it's like a fucking sauna.
Yeah, the heat's just, well, we all know it's bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I tell you, summer, years ago, the only place in Doncaster that used to have its air conditioning on during summer was WH Smith's. Right, so you'd have people. This and you'd see them all doing it. People go in doing the shopping, and everybody used to finish off at WH Smith's. You know, WH Smith's used to be packed all the time, not because people were going in to
go
buy
somewhere with aircon.
Yeah, not because people wanting to buy books or anything. It was because it was the only place that was actually cool.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
When I worked for Employ in an office, I was there for 3 years. They did have air conditioning, but they would also they would allow you to bring a fan in to put on your desk.
Yeah,
you had to bring it in yourself. So
yeah,
but they would allow you to.
Yeah, when I worked,
but the thing is, often the fans would be so loud when you're talking on the phone.
Yeah,
you couldn't hear what the person was saying.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's a bugger when they do that. I mean, when I used to work at council, my little office, I used to get the sun for most of the day because of the direction it faced, and I couldn't open the windows because they were just static windows. You know, they didn't have a key for you to open them up or anything, and I had to put blinds down because otherwise I couldn't see, and the room used to turn into a sauna like immediately. And I was looking through cupboards one day, I was just having a poke around in the building. I found these 2 tower fans in the cupboards. I just went to my office and goes, is anybody using these tower fans? And they're like, no, why? And I went, right, because they're mine now. And they went, oh yeah, if I remember right, them tower fans don't work. And I went, they'll work by the time I finish with them, Fucking get screwdriver out, find out what it is. Oh, look, it's just that they need a bit of cleaning. Yeah, get a wet paper towel, wipe all crap off at fucking roller bearings and everything like that. Stick one in each corner of my office, switch the fuckers on. My office went from being like a sauna to being like a freezer. It was fucking spectacular.
Do you prefer the cold weather then, Carl?
Yeah, I do a lot better in winter than I do during summer. Even though winter has its own problems, during the summer, the heat makes my muscles and joints hurt, whereas in winter, the cold makes my arthritis and bones ache. But I prefer cold to warm. It's like I say, it's why I've never really been into the whole going off on a summer holiday thing, because it's just too fucking hot for me abroad. Oh, what you doing, Knowlsy?
No.
Are you playing fucking Flappy Bird? Mind you, nobody plays Flappy Bird anymore.
No, that died out.
Yeah, no. Well, one thing here, my mate's fucking 16-year-old daughter were looking at my phone and she goes, God, you've still got Flappy Bird on your phone? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh my God, she says, nobody's played that for years. I'm like, oh, fuck off, I'm old. I'm allowed to be fucking old-fashioned. Respect your elders, crack.
Yeah. This brings me back to kind of the entertainer. This is what I'm enjoying. Is like they get stacks of like these new toys in, but they also they really want to make sure that the old stuff doesn't die down. What I've mainly been doing is what's known as demoing, like promoting the yo-yos and kinetic rings to customers, which apparently they're very pleased with. They say I'm very good at it.
Yeah,
you say you're a good salesman selling a lot of things.
Yeah,
yo-yos and things like that.
Yeah, if it's something that you like doing, if it's something that you're interested in, if you like demonstrating the yo-yos to people, that's going to come across because, it's like, when you get like double glazing salesmen and they say, oh, you've got to be passionate about the product. It's like, it's a bit hard to be passionate about like floor tiles and double glazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, we had, I think, Friday, we had, we had 2 people down the street knocking on doors with clipboards and asking questions. You know, we're here from the part of a government survey, checking in on your insulation or something. Do you need
well, we had some of them. We had some of them knocking on doors around here. They're not. They're you know, like fucking cowboy salesman things.
Oh yeah.
They're not from government or anything. Not to do with government or council or anything. They're just going around trying to get people to sign up to have like insulation done and things like that. And because the police, the South Yorkshire Police, gave a warning about it, saying there just be wary of people knocking on doors saying about insulation and replacement windows and, you know, cladding and things like that, because the basically the con men.
Oh well, fair enough. They were pointless anyway, because the insulation in the house got redone about 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, a bit late, mate.
Yeah, well, Andrew, I used to get that when you're knocking on. Oh, we're just wondering if you know, like double glazing. Oh, we had us double glazing done a while back. How many years? Oh, 2. Oh, well, it needs replacing then. It's like, no. Double glazing, depending on where you live and how good it is, you know, you're talking about 10 years minimum before you need to think about replacing it. Some of it, I mean, some companies, when they'll fit you double glazing for you, guarantee it for 25 years. You know, so, you know, for them to come and say, oh, your double glazing needs replacing after 2 years, that's fucking what they call it there. That's time to set the fucking alarm bell off straight away. If double glazing were that fucking bad, then what's the point in having it?
Yeah.
There's the things I remember all these, when the what they call it, there was that fad of having them foam bricks put on outside of your house.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
As it turns out, they don't actually do anything. It's like the savings on, you know, like lost heat and stuff like that amounts to about, you know, 0.00001p a year or something. It's like, and it costs you 10 grand to have your house clad.
Yeah, they're not exactly, well, we don't have much point really.
Yeah, and plus it's like, because the Grenfell Tower thing, that's what the says caused that to be so bad, because it were covered in them cladding bricks. And if it's I think it's said there, if the salt that they used was the cheapo nasty version, and that's why it ended up going up like it did. Oh, fucking hell!
Yeah, as I say, the current fad for kids at the moment is this slime. We're selling like lots of this slime things, these slime balls and things they can build, and you know that's what the big fad seems to be for children at the moment. I mean,
yeah.
Think about it. In the past few years, we've had Pokemon Go, then we had the fidget spinners, which you know I personally really like. I've got so many of them. I still use them.
Yeah, I've still got mine. It comes in handy if I suddenly find myself fucking spackery, and it gives me something to think about.
Yeah, I've got one as well. But it's interesting, the fidget spinner phase, because it lasted at the most maybe 3 months. And then afterwards, there were loads of shops trying to sell loads of fidget spinners for like 50p, because obviously no one's buying them anymore. Yeah,
I remember seeing it, and it was like, you know, oh, brand new fidget spinner, £10. And then as it was getting thingy, you know, like two for, you know, like 2 for a £5, and now it's like, you know, 10 for a quid.
Yeah.
No, I got. I got many of the, you know, the nicer ones. I've got nearly every colour of the normal ones. But the only one I haven't got, which I'd really like, is the Harry Potter one, the golden snitch one, the Quidditch ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was looking for a metal one. You know, instead of being plastic, I wanted one that was metal. They were still expensive. Yeah, they were still expensive for what they were.
I've got a metal one.
You got that Chinese dragon one, haven't you? So.
Yeah, it only cost me like £5.
Yeah, that's £5 more than what I want to spend on it, though.
This is quite a nice one. This white one, it's plastic, but it's white. It's got these, you know, these little white screws in. This is a bit more weighty than some of the other ones.
Yeah. I like the what they call it when people on YouTube which showed you modding fidget spinners and like lethal fidget spinners, you know, like fucking like making them into shuriken and stuff like that. Fucking sticking razor blades on them, or putting, you know, just getting a roller bearing and attaching to.
You're trying to make one out of knives.
Yeah, there's quite a few. One bloke made he made one out of what did he? Bottle rockets. And he basically made it like, you know, like a Catherine wheel.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's impressive until it explodes.
Yeah. Trying to think of what was the someone I saw was drilling like holes in old phones and stuff, was drilling through the phone screen and putting them on and putting the bearings there, and he found you could spin the iPhones very well.
Yeah.
Not waste of a good phone, but if it makes a good fidget spinner.
But no. It's not. It's an iPhone. It's not a waste of a good phone. You know, you know, if it was an Android phone, that'd be a waste of a good phone. Mind you, I've still got a fucking Windows phone. I think someone said that the other day. Who's got a Windows phone? It's like, I have. It's like, yeah, but I don't have Windows phones anymore. It's like, well, I do, because I quite like the fact that, you know, I can take a photo while I'm out and it automatically uploads it to my laptop, you know, at home. So I ain't got to mess about with it or anything. You know, I don't have to email it to myself or anything, and the phone interacts with my computer. You know, I can set a calendar on my computer and sit and type in all things, and then it instantly transfers it to my phone so that my alarm goes off when I want it to, and it reminds me, you know, when I've got appointments, or, you know, when I've got something coming up that I need to remember. You know, it's like, yeah, but your iPhone can do that. It's like, yeah, but you can't. Yeah, but you what they call it, you have to sit there and squint at that tiny little screen to do it.
Yeah. So I was looking back. I often think back at the crazes. You know, we went through as a kid. Obviously, like you and me, John and Sam, we were similar age, so we'd remember the first school craze. I remember when I was about 4 or 5. I think first it was Pogs. Remember Pogs?
Yeah.
And then for a while it was football cards. I do remember people liking football cards. And then you had Pokemon cards. Then I think in 1997 yo-yos came back for a while. They had the Pro Yos.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted it. Then the Pokemon cards. And then actually everyone.
The first big craze at my school was Pokemon cards. Then after Pokemon cards, I believe it was Pogs, then marbles, then jacks, then then yo-yos, then it went back to Pokemon cards.
Yeah. So when I was at school, the first proper craze I can remember was, and this is probably just a local thing. Our school, when I was at middle school, it was bouncy balls, the very first one I can remember, because there was a shop over the road, like a newsagents over the road from the school, and it just got, you know, like obviously it just been to what they call it, to wholesalers, and it just got this, you know, like plastic box with bouncy balls in. They were selling them for 20p each. And next thing, fucking everybody had one, just like a tiny little rubber ball with, you know, like rainbow colours and swirls and all that.
Yeah, well, I must say, I had, you know, I probably had, you know, so many bouncy balls because they were fun. You know, they actually were fun to play with. And given that they were jazzy, they had different designs, but they were, you know, fun, something to just bounce up and down.
Yeah, and you used to have competitions, like you'd both stand with your ball in your hand like that, and then both of you drop it at the same time. Whoever's ball, you'd see whose ball bounced highest and stuff, you know. Without cheating, without going like that to let go, you just let go of it like this. Yeah, and all right, after that, what did we have? Oh, we had Ninja Turtles cards, which were, you know, like bubblegum cards, but based on the, you know, with scenes from the original, you know, cartoon. Then we had WWF, back when it was still WWF wrestling, WWF stickers. What was the other one? There was, what did they used to call it? Pro something. It was football cards. But I never really got into it. Not being properly into football, it never bothered me. But I did get a Gaza card. I've still got it somewhere.
Yeah.
that I was really proud of. And or after that, oh, there were all sorts. Oh, then there was those things you put on your shoes. You know, like they were like tags, but you like threaded your lace through an hole in them and just like had things hanging off your shoes. Was that? What else? Oh, the Monster in My Pocket cards were quite popular at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Pocket. Yeah, I had a full set of Turtles cards. I had a full set of Monster in My Pocket cards.
I'm trying to think. Do you remember Go-Go's? They're crazy birds. Like these plastic teeth. These sort of teeth.
No, we never got them. No, we never had them. I can't think of what else. I know when when we went up to like you know what we call it, comp school or high school or whatever you want to call it. It were all when I was that age. It weren't really like the fashionable things to have. It's like you had a Nintendo or you had a Sega or something like that. There weren't really any.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, when back in 1999, obviously, I was in America with my family. I was in New York and then to Florida to go to Disneyland, and that was when I first saw Pokemon.
Yeah.
And that was like October time, 1999, and then it just started when we got back. It just started to come to the UK, and then I think everyone also Game Boy sales rose.
Yeah.
Dramatically because everyone wanted it to play.
Yeah, Game Boy was really popular. I had one of the original Game Boys, but I didn't get it until it had been out for a couple of years. And
they were very expensive, weren't they? They were like what 80 quid.
I remember when they first came out, they were about 150 quid. Yeah, it came out and it was about 150 quid, and you got Tetris, and that was it. And I got mine for £95. And it came with Tetris and Super Mario Land. That was it. And that was the only games I had for it until I bought... I can't remember. I think I bought Quix. I think it's called QIX. But then I didn't buy it. And I ended up selling it because I wasn't playing it. But then later on, I bought a Game Boy just so I could play Pokemon. I think I got a Game Boy Color just so I could play Pokemon. And then I got a Game Boy Advance.
I had a Game Boy Pocket.
Yeah,
I got a second-hand Game Boy Pocket because I was so desperate.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, I got a Game Boy Pocket, and then I got a Game Boy Color after that. But I can't say I was terribly impressed with the Game Boy Color. Yeah, can't say I was terribly impressed.
Well, the graphics weren't the graphics weren't that improved. Only that it was like a color picture.
Yeah, instead of it being green on green, it was like if it was dark green, it might show it up as sort of like a reddy blue color. It was a bit crap. It was, it's like saying I like my Game Boy Pocket and my Game Boy Advance more than I like the Game Boy Color or the original Game Boy. The only problem with the original Game Boy was it just went through fucking batteries like fuck.
I know. I remember though when I got my Game Boy Color, I got the first sort of battery charger that you could actually recharge it with.
Yeah.
You could plug into the back and it would recharge.
Yeah, I mean, for my Game Boy Pocket, I got a rechargeable battery pack for it, and it was in the Game Boy all the time, and I was playing just for playing Pokemon basically, and you sit and play it in fucking pub. Be sat like in fucking pub having a pint, sat playing fucking Pokemon.
Well, yeah, that's nothing to be ashamed of because people were doing, all the adults that play Pokemon
Oh yeah, people are doing that now.
We're doing that,
doing it. Yeah, when I was fucking doing it, we're like, oh, what the fuck's he doing? He's weird.
Let's say that now.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, recently I bought the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch again, and I took my Switch out with me for the day, and I was sat in the pub, and I was playing tabletop on the Switch, and no one took any notice of me. No. Like, this is great. I can play my childhood favourite when I'm out on the go now.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. But I can't really think of any other crazes that were around when I was at school. It's like the last one I really remember was Tamagotchis.
Yes,
and that came in. Yeah, that came in. Yeah, Tamagotchis came in on my first year when I started at sixth form college, and that's the last sort of big craze I kind of remember, because it's that came and went really quickly.
Yeah, I know. It only lasted about 5 months, didn't it? I'll never forget how much I pestered my parents to get me one.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, save up your pocket money. Save at the time I got like £1 a week. I said, that's 5 blinking weeks. I want one. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
And then when I did get one, I wasn't allowed to take it to school. So
yeah. And it's like, well, I've got to take it to school because if it wants feeding, you know, while I'm at school, it's going to fucking die, and that kind of defeats the whole point of having one. I remember sat in physics lesson once, so we sat there, teachers droning away, and then all of a sudden you just heard this beep, 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 like that. Yeah. And the teacher just stopped and he goes, what does it want? And this lass sat her back and she just got hers out and she just went like, what's feeding? Hang on.
Yeah, it all got back at one point.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I had one, but it wasn't a proper Tamagotchi. It was one of the knockoff ones. I think it was called. It was called. I think it was called Lucky Cat or something like that. And instead of being what they call it, you know, like an egg creature, it was what they call it called McKenny Neko, and you had to look after it. But it didn't work as well as the Tamagotchi because it had this. I
had loads of them. Yeah, over time I had loads of them. I had the first ones I had were like really cheap ones. They used to call them 8-in-1, where you'd have like 8 different pets and you could select which one you wanted. Then they had 16 in one.
Yeah.
And then the first more or less decent one I got was this Martian, this alien one, which I bought from an actual like gadget shop. Which that was quite good. But then I think one I paid 20 quid for that I got for my 9th birthday actually it would have been my 10th birthday when I had some money left over from my Game Boy. I bought this Pikachu one that was sold in Woolworths. Yeah. It was a really good one. I had an R2-D2 one. I had I had quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And none of them lasted very long.
No. It's the problem with them was that the novelty soon wore off. It's like I say, you know, you can, you know, your fidget spinners and your yo-yos and your Pokemon cards. At least you can keep the novelty.
Yeah, they're not electronics.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's like, you know, yo-yo, you can just put it away and get it out when you want, and your Pokemon cards, there's always new sets coming out and stuff like that, but you can't really, you know, you buy a Tamagotchi and it gets boring after a while and you can't change it, you know. To a certain extent, you know, things like Pokemon and, you know, Pokemon Go has kind of replaced the virtual pet thing. You know, I do remember they did bring out Tamagotchis again a couple of years back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We've got them. The shop I'm in at the moment, we've got them in. I don't know how well they're selling. We're not, we can't really demo them, but...
Yeah.
What I've been selling a lot of at the shop is what these things called kinetic rings. Like the things you just put up and down on you, and you just move your hand up and down, and it rolls up and down on your hand, and it feels like very soothing. And
is it like a magnet or something? Is it something to do with magnets?
No, it's not like a magnet. It's like it's a set of rings put to just held together somehow, and like you put, it's like a bracelet thing, so it softly just moves up and down your arm, and it feels very soothing. And we're selling them for like £3 each, and I've been doing a lot of demoing, and I even got called to the manager's office when, oh shit, I'm in trouble, but he said, no, you're doing really well, and you're doing really well with the customers, and you're selling a lot of basically it's like a very soothing thing. I've been meaning to go and pick one up because it was like, they're like £3. So before I go, I'm definitely going to pick one up. Because it's fun. It's just
can't say I've heard of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like they're all the same. They've all got different names. I mean, but it's the sort of thing that would be good, you know, if you're feeling stressed or, you know, just it's very soothing. I think. Trying to.
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
Yeah, because the main things is
Because I want to say when you said kinetic things, I thought you were going to say about that kinetic sand. What was quite
popular. Oh yeah, well we saw that. This is the thing. I don't exactly get. I know that kinetic normally is like an arts and crafts thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if the reason why it's called a kinetic ring is just because it's sort of like several rings sort of put together in a bracelet that moves along.
Yeah.
Kind of moves. It spins on your.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, because I can remember kinetic sand and what I call. I know that were about, but a lot of it turned out to be really expensive, and people didn't want to buy it. And so I remember seeing there's quite a few videos on YouTube where people show you how to make your own kinetic sand, but it's not exactly the same. It's not as good as like if you go to a shop and buy kinetic sand. It's not as good as that. Same with there's videos showing you how to make your own slime.
Yeah,
and, that's the big fad at the moment. Kids, we're selling lots of slime. We're having to promote it. And...
There's videos where it shows you how to make your own slime, and it's all right. The stuff that they do. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is they're selling. With regards to slime, it's not something that particularly interests me, but it's
there's slime balls. The slime balls the kids can sort of make themselves just with slime, and there's slime sets that they can.
Yeah, I mean, when I remember when I was young, and they used to have was it the real Ghostbusters slime pots?
Yeah,
and that was all right. That was quite fun because I had a couple of them slime pot things. But what it was is that when after a while, it kind of started to dry out, and it smelled horrible. And I think it was one of those toys that that came out during the sort of 80s that ended up being toxic or something like that. Because there was quite a few toys from the 80s that they had to like withdraw and things like that. Like the original Play-Doh, the Play-Doh that I had during the 80s, you can't buy anymore now. They've had to change the what makes how they make the Play-Doh, because the Play-Doh that I had when I was a kid actually turned out to be sort of quite dangerous if you swallowed it, sort of thing.
Yeah, didn't it? I mean, did Play-Doh did it used to go hard if the people left the tops off the container?
Because I know this because I had one of them fucking full Play-Doh sets when I was a nip. The ones where you get the different pots with the different colours in and everything like that. Yeah. I don't know why, but it used to, if you got any on the carpet, you just could not get it out. You were not getting it out at all. And after a while, if you let the air get to it, it set rock hard, so you couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
I ended up. I know at one point, for some reason, when you used to buy a car, like toy cars that you could lift the bonnet up and see the engine and stuff like that. One of the cars I had, for some reason, when I was younger, I shoved a load of Play-Doh under the bonnet.
Sure.
And then I couldn't get it back out again. It worked its way into all the little crevices and everything. And, and then once the air got to it, it set rock hard, and it wouldn't come out at all. It was a case of that if I was doing it, if I like went to car boot and found some now, it'd be easy for me to get out because I could just take the car apart and chip it out, sort of thing. But back in them days, you couldn't get it out because you didn't have like Dremels and and obviously being a young man, I didn't have a craft knife and anything like that to get it out with. So, but yeah, it's the Play-Doh from those days. It was a bit dangerous if you swallowed it. You get it on the walls. If you put it on the wall, it would make stains on the wall and set solid. It was more like like you can buy those pots of like filler. Wood filler and stuff like that. It was more like that than what it was. Sort of clay, if you know what I mean, because that's all Play-Doh is. It's sort of like modeling clay, but it doesn't set as quickly, and it's like if you keep it all together inside the pot, don't let the air get to it.
Oh yeah, modeling clay. That's what my mum actually bought me, this big set of modeling clay when I wanted plasticine, because that actually didn't go hard. You could leave it out.
Yeah, plasticine. My mum. Yeah. Plasticine was another thing that. I had when I was a young'un, and wasn't terribly popular for getting into carpet and everything. Again, that was something that did not come out of the carpet. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I know plasticine was quite popular in the 70s, and then it sort of was quite popular in the 70s, and then it was quite popular right through to sort of like the late 80s, early 90s, and then it's kind of disappeared. I'm trying to think what else. There's stuff that, you know, there's stuff that you get now that's like, you know, updates of things that had in the 80s and stuff like that, but it's not the same. Yeah, I can't think of what else. I can't think of anything else that was really popular when I was. I know we had like a phase of marbles was a phase.
Yeah.
When I was at little school, that was even before we got to middle school, because it carried on from little school to middle school for the first couple of years, and then it kind of died off again. Marbles. We never had jacks. I don't think anybody was ever bothered about jacks. That's not something that was thingy.
Was jacks another form of slime? Or?
No, jacks. It's a game. It's actually one of the oldest games in the world.
We had jacks back at junior school. It's real popular then.
Yeah, it comes along every so often, and I can remember when I used to stop at my grandma's. There was a bag there, and it had jacks in from when my dad was at school. You know, it had a box of jacks with a ball. And I remember asking my grandma what it was, and she said it's jacks, but she didn't really explain what you were supposed to do with them. You know, and she says, "Oh, you can take them home if you want." And I'm like, "No, because I don't really know what they are." You know, it's just like these metal things and a ball. It's like I don't get it.
Yeah, you're supposed to hit the ball on them and quickly catch as many as you can. Is it?
Yeah, you put your jacks on the floor, and then you bounce the ball, and you've got to grab as many jacks as you can before the ball hits the floor again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I used to play Pogs. I used to play Conkers. I used to play all sorts of stuff like that. I used to soak my Conkers in vinegar for like 3 days.
Another thing I remember, like they had the Pogs, they also had the things called Tazos, which were these similar things to Pogs, but they were really good.
Yeah.
And then they also had Star Wars Tazos.
Yes, Star Wars Tazos, yeah. Yeah.
Because they were free, I think. Weren't they free with packs of Skips? The crisps,
no, it basically, they put them in every Walker's Crisps product had, you know, like you buy one packet of crisps and you get a Tazo in it.
Yeah.
And if you bought multi-packs, you might get like 2 or 3 Tazos inside the multi-pack. Because I remember Tazos because they had those little, what they call it, like grooves cut into them so that you could, you know, as well as collecting them, you could build towers and stuff like that with them.
Yeah.
Because they were basically Tazos were sort of like Pogs that actually did something.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. No, Skips actually had Pogs in for a while, but they didn't actually put them in like a plastic packet to begin with. They just put the Pogs in the crisps, and occasionally I think kids would put the Pogs in their mouth.
Yeah.
So they stopped it for a while, and then they put it in a little packaging so that the kids wouldn't put them in their mouth thinking they were crisps.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember the Tazos and stuff. They used to come in a thing where you used to say that, you know, like it looked like a condom packet because it was literally like a little plastic envelope with a Tazo in the middle, so it sort of looked like a condom. Yeah, but yeah, Knowlsy, I remember Conkers as well at school. I had oh god, what did I have? My best one, I had I think it was 110 before it broke. Yeah, 100.
Is it like the game people used to play with conkers that you pick off the tree? Or?
Yeah. Soak it in vinegar and then bake it in the oven and what they call it, soak in vinegar for. I used to do mine for about a week and then bake it in the oven for a couple of hours so it went rock hard. I also, one of them once, I cheated and put varnish on it.
Everybody did that.
Yeah, I would put varnish on it, but technically it's not cheating because it's helping you retain hardness. You know, it's not my fault that people don't know how to, you know, don't know how to do shit like that. And but that wasn't my 110er. My 110er was just vinegar and baking, And instead of, and I actually got a proper drill bit, and I drilled, instead of being a big hole, I drilled a small hole through it and threaded a shoelace in, because shoelace was bigger and thicker. So it provided a bit more grip, and because the conker was quite big, it meant that the conker actually absorbed more impact. 110 before that fucker broke.
Yeah, I remember having one. I managed to find a really big one.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't bake it in the oven. I just soaked it in vinegar for like maybe 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
But literally, I mean, I went to the school playground, and obviously, you know, all the bullies would come out and say, "Oh, I'm gonna break your conker," and things like that. So I tried to, and ended up breaking theirs because mine was so hard, and nobody could beat me.
Yeah. It's fucking rock solid. Yeah, that's why I said putting varnish on them helped as well, because it gives it another layer, and it's sort of like ablative armor. Because the varnish chips off, but what they call it, it still works. I know there's like conker, when they still have conker competitions places, and you know, like some of them have like definitely no varnish rules and stuff like that. Because it depends on the varnish you use. Like if you use clear varnish, people can't see, you know, like nail varnish.
Yeah.
But if you try and use something like fucking, you know, like oh god, cuprinol, you know, the fucking stuff you put on your garden fence. If you use that, then yeah, people can see it, because it's like, why is your conker like really dark brown and shiny? Oh, because I polished it. No, it's not. It's because you dipped it in cuprinol, you cheating bastard. I remember reading a comic once, and somebody got a ball bearing, you know, big ball bearing, drilled an hole in it, painted it brown, and went, "Yeah, this is my conker." It's like fucking steel ball. I'll break this, you bastard.
Brilliant. That's a.
Didn't they used to call it conkifying the game? You like?
You what?
Did you sort of like? Didn't they used to call it? Is it conkifying when you say you conkify someone in the game, and you just sort of like bash the conker together, like?
No, I can't say I've ever heard that. All you do to play conkers is one person holds their conker up by the string, and then you will get your conker in your hand like this, and then you go like that, you know, like flick it forward, and it hits the other conker like downwards. And the idea is to make your conker shatter theirs. And you know, it's like you keep doing that until you either agree on each number of strokes, or you just keep going until somebody's conker breaks. It's like, you know, I can say, you know, six goes, sort of thing. So you'll do like 6, and then your opponent does 6 on yours. And you know, if neither conker breaks, then you know that's, you know, it's like, oh well, there we go. And you used to count the number of hits it would take before it would break. It's like I said, the best one I had was like 110 or something before it broke. But you'd normally get conkers that would break, you know, maybe some of them would go straight away. You know, like ones that were fresh off a tree that hadn't dried out and gone hard.
Yeah.
Because it was still mushy inside. And, you know, the ones that had gone rock hard would last a lot longer. Because that used to be a fucking thing there of, what they call it, anywhere where there were conker trees, you'd have people fucking chucking, you know, kids hanging around conker trees. And usually when it were too early,
you'd try and knock them off the trees and they'd be too...
Yeah, like in June or summer. But you had to get them. If you got them too early, they weren't big enough. And if you left it until they fell off the trees on their own, they'd be all wizened up and crap. So you had to get it at just the right time. And there were about a dozen or so conker trees around where I used to live, and you'd see them still there chucking bucking balls and bricks and stuff up into the tree to try and knock them off. And you know, like sort of in fucking June, it's like, nah, you're too early. It's sort of July or end of July, beginning of August time. You want to do that?
Yes, the vast majority of stuff at my junior school that was popular would always get banned largely on the grounds that it was a Church of England school, so you have to focus on God rather than being a kid.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody at that school that was actually religious, apart from the headmaster.
Yeah, it's a lot of them do it.
I think nearly every school in the country practically banned the Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's the way that school catchment areas used to work. It's the only people that could get out of having to go to closest school were like Catholics, to go to Catholic school. But if you weren't a Catholic, you had to go to whatever school, and if that turned out to be a Church of England one, then tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said I'm going to say stuff used to get banned at school. I know at one point marbles got banned at was it little school there because there were people fucking thieving and arguing and fighting over it. So they went, "Oh, we're banning marbles." It's like, "Oh yeah, all right, whatever."
We had a bit of a situation at middle school when we went. Well, it was high school, but it's just before we went up to upper high school. I always call it middle school. But anyway, so I was at middle school, and Sam might remember this. There was a bit of a. I can't remember. They did catch the guy at what eventually, but I can't remember.
About the guy that was beaten up and had all his Pokemon cards next.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the guy that was going around slashing people's coats and bags for like Pokemon.
Right, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
and they pretty much called him the school slasher, and it was just like this kid had like a big ass knife on him or something, and he apparently threatened a few kids with it and everything, and it was kind of getting a real big of a situation. So yeah, he managed to get. Apparently they kind of like set him up. They kind of like set something up, and he just kind of fell for it and managed to catch him. So yeah, that was kind of a scary thing because
but that's it. It's when I was the same age, kids like that didn't go to normal schools. They went to special schools because teachers shouldn't have to be fucking like prison warders. They had specialist schools set up for like that. It's like if a young kid wants to carry a knife to fucking school, then there's something wrong with them. And that's what I said. They more or less got rid of those, but they've brought them back now. It's because my mate's youngest is autistic, and he goes to a special school there. And it's like I say, he behaves himself most of the time, but there's sometimes when he kicks off. And they've got the proper teachers there who are trained to deal with that sort of thing.
Yeah,
they didn't. I know there was a period where they didn't have stuff like that. They just went, oh, well, we'll just put these kids in with normal kids, and then that helps them form relationships and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, it does, but when one of them decides to pull a fucking knife on you, then it's like he doesn't want to be at that school anymore. There were a couple of kids. At our school that did that. When I were at like comprehensive school that were like that. They were somewhat up with them, and they should have been at special school really. But back then, teachers were actually allowed to discipline people. Yeah, it's one of those things. We had
a kid in my class at junior school. I can't remember what year it was, but we had a kid in the class who was clearly the high spectrum of special needs.
Yeah.
He basically had the mental age of probably like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
The sad thing was, it was an obvious case of the parents, there's nothing wrong with him, he's fine.
Yeah.
And he was in our class for a year. And it was obvious to everybody that, he needs to be in a specialist school.
Yeah.
However, the teachers were adamant that, oh, no, he's just being silly. He's just, behaving badly.
Yeah.
And eventually, after a year, he was finally taken out and basically put in a special school. But for an entire year, this poor kid was effectively trying to treat him like there was nothing wrong with him when there clearly was.
Yeah. The what they call they did that. I mean, there were one of my mates at school. He used to have special lessons. Like it's we'd all be doing, I don't know, like fucking French or something, And he'd go off and he used to get like 3 or 4 special lessons a week, you know, with like a teaching assistant. You know, like because it's a lot of the stuff that we were doing he couldn't grasp.
Yeah.
The class moved along too quickly for him to be able to grasp. But it were all right. There were no, you know, he weren't like a Winderlicker or anything like that. You know, he. But that's what I say. He were a bit. I hesitate to say he were a bit slow because he wasn't. It's just that he didn't comprehend. I think he got like some form of, you know, like sort of learning disability. You know, like sort of like dyslexia.
Yeah.
But worse than that, if you know what I mean. He could read and write, but not very well. And he used to struggle to, you know, struggle to be able to string a sentence, you know, like to write a sentence down. He could talk fine, you know, he could talk and communicate fine, and he used to get on with everybody, but he couldn't, you know, he couldn't cope with a lot of the schoolwork. You know, like that. And it's like, yeah, fair enough. You know, he would have probably benefited from going to a special school. But he was just sort of like, you know, borderline enough that, you know, he could have done, he would have been better off going to a special school, but he didn't really need to, if you know what I mean. You know, there were no real need to unless he got really far behind with everything. I don't know what's happened to him. I know he left school and went to college. He went to do something at college, you know, not like I don't know, like joinery or bricklaying or something like that. And I've not seen him since. But yeah, that's what I said though. But there were some fucking psychos and that needed to be at special schools, but they didn't have special schools anymore, you know, sort of thing. And I remember one day one of them fucking went off at one of teachers and started smashing things up, and fucking teacher lost his fucking rag with him and whacked him one, and he still fucking stopped.
One of the issues, I know they've done this in Scotland. They've effectively made it illegal for a parent to punish a child. Oh yeah. It's you're not. That comes from one of those stupid things that was starting to come in when I was still at middle school. The whole thing about you shouldn't punish children. It's like, well, how do you let them know that they've done something wrong? It's like, you talk to them. It's like, what? The children, they don't understand. You talk to them like you treat them like adults. Yeah, but they're not adults. They don't understand. Yeah, because they've effectively, if I remember correctly, they've effectively made it illegal to discipline a child on the grounds that if the parent was to, let's say, smack the child, they can literally go to prison for assault.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I don't think corporal punishment is the answer. I mean, maybe in some form of self-defense, like if you have a teenage son, a teenage kid that's out of control and is like really punching at their parents, actually, physically, where they can physically really hurt.
I'm not on about that kind of delicate like I'm on about just simple discipline. I mean, when I was a kid. Yeah. If I did something wrong, my parents would make sure I knew I'd done something wrong. You know, they wouldn't sit you down and be all nice about it. Bloody hell, I'd get one hell of a smack and a shouting. You know, I'd know I'd done something wrong. And I wouldn't do it again because I know it was wrong. But it seems to be at the moment, a lot the demographic, if you will, is, as Carl said, just sit them down and talk to them. Don't actually tell them they've done it wrong. Or the other side of the spectrum, which is becoming quite common, is parents just being ignorant and ignoring the kids when they're misbehaving.
Yeah.
Because we see that in Bleed Primark every day.
Yeah, kids kicking off and just ignoring them, and it's like, for fuck's sake, shut that fucking kid up.
Yeah, because a couple of days ago, we had a big clothes rail damaged because 2 kids were treating it like a swing seesaw. They were basically swinging on it and jumping on, swinging around on it. And the mother was actually there and just totally ignoring it. Yeah. And a member of staff actually told her, your kids kind of damaging Primark property. You're going to stop them. They're damaging our property by doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said to the person, but apparently she just spent most of it ignoring the kids while they were damaging property in the store.
Oh, you damage property. It's like, don't, don't tell me what I'm doing. What the fuck? For some reason I'm echoing.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm going to say I was talking. It was echoing through Sam's thing.
Yeah, I know. I heard it. I was like,
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, it, probably because it got his mic too close to the speaker or something like that. But it's just like, the what they call it. Oh, you're damaging Primark's property, and they're like, oh, don't fucking tell me what to do with my kids. It's like, well, I won't. But if you damage the rail, then you're paying for a new rail and any damage to any of the stock that's on it.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, that should be what it is. I mean, it used to get that thing, where you get people like, don't fucking tell me what to do with my kids. And it's like, yeah, I will tell you what to do with your kid because obviously you can't fucking do it yourself. Arseholes.
I mean, the last time there was in about 3 or 4 years ago, there was a rather bizarre and awful situation in Hull. Where me and John live, and John, you probably might remember this because it was in the local papers. On a local bus, there was a bloke who was basically being irritated, shall we say, by 2 kids who were about 6 or 7, and they were just throwing stuff at him. So he politely asked them to stop. The result of this was both parents smashed his face in.
Yeah.
On the bus, and then just walks off with the kids, all because he'd asked the parents, excuse me, can you tell your kids to stop throwing stuff at me? He hospitalised them. Like, what the hell is wrong with people these days?
Well, look at that fucking bloke that got murdered because the kids hanging around outside his house chucking bottles and things. He went outside and told them to pack it in, and they fucking beat him to death. And it's like that. It's like that shouldn't be happening. That's what I think. But then again, it's one of these things where let kids do what they want. It's like, yeah, let kids do what they want, but they've got to learn that you're crossing the fucking line sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree that any form of corporal punishment is really the answer. Except in certain situations, but I don't think it is right for parents to smack their little children. Because
what they call it doesn't do any lasting damage. I mean, that's the thing. You get a quick crack on the arse, and it's pain. It's a very good way of telling you that something's wrong. That's why, when you've got something wrong with you, it hurts because that's your body telling you there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So a young'un, they're doing a quick smack on the arse. It doesn't leave a wound. Unless you fucking a psycho and you, instead of smacking him at arse, you use a fucking whip or something, and a quick smack on arse or a clip round ear, and it's like, there, you've done something wrong. Do you understand that you've done something wrong? You do? Good. And then they do it again, so you hit them again, and eventually you'll knock some sense into them. That's where the phrase, knock some sense into you comes from, because eventually you learn that I do this, it hurts. And discipline, proper discipline is something that a lot of kids are lacking these days, or they used to. I mean, like fucking chavs. Traditional, like you used to get your fucking chavs. Fucking, things in the like mid to late teens, and in some cases in their early fucking 20s. I can do whatever I want, fuck the police and all stuff like that. You hardly see chavs around anymore now because most of them have grown up, and the younger ones have basically figured out that, oh yeah, it's not cool having fucking Asbos, which means I can't go into town and shit like that. All my mates are going to town and I can't because, I threw a fucking brick at somebody when we were in town to prove how hard I was. Now I'm on tag and I can't go out at fucking house, once it gets dark. But yeah, it's the thing is it's discipline. It's moral and personal discipline that causes that. The
sort of punishments that we remember, and I remember is like you'd either have something important to you confiscated, or they might stop your parents and stop your pocket money for a week, and
Yeah, that's not punishment though. The punishment has to be something that you learn from. You know, oh, stop your pocket money for a week. All right, so that means I don't get any sweets for a week. I get them week after. I've not really learned anything. I've just learned that I can go without sweets for a week. You know, whereas, you know, like you see these things like with people selling the kids fucking PlayStations and whatever on eBay. That's a punishment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a punishment. It's like, right, you know, fucking little Timmy refused to go to bed because he was up all night playing on his Xbox or whatever. So Xbox, you know, fucking Xbox with 20 games for a fiver, who wants it? You know, that's punishment. You know, or it's like, say, if someone becomes violent, you know, like you get these fuckers that start kicking off and whatnot. Yeah, if somebody becomes violent, then yeah, use fucking violence against them. Because that's the only way you know, somebody's really kicking off and they're smashing things up and fists are swinging. You know, going, please calm down, please calm down, please calm down. Doesn't work.
No. It only makes them worse, really, if you tell someone to calm down.
Yeah, it makes them act up. You know, it makes them act up because if you're there as you know, a supplicant, you know, basically begging them to stop, it's like, you know, that's when the power trip kicks in. It's like, well, I'm bigger and scarier than you.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, my dad used to fucking, what they call it, you know, he used to hit me and everything, and he used to quite well cross the line sometimes. You know, it weren't a smack on arse I used to get. You know, I used to get punched in face and kicked in head and things like that. And, you know, that's taking it too far. But at least I knew when I was fucking naughty. You know, what's that you got there, John? Keep seeing you picking that thing up and fingering it.
Just trying to return Sky.
Oh yeah, it's the what I prefer the what they call it one. You know, the old chug one.
Mm.
Yeah, I prefer that one. Mind you, that's what I say. I haven't seen any Transformers I wanted to buy in fucking ages. And I think, oh, were it Matt? Yeah, Matt put a thing on, and he, three figures that he bought while he were out and about, and one was it Moon Racer, and he goes, oh, it's a crap figure, but at least it's showing, like, you know, being progressive. It's like, yeah, but it's a crap figure. It was a waste of fucking money. You know, buy shit. You know, you're just encouraging them. Oh, I did like the what they call it one that he got though, the one of the Terracons.
Yeah.
Which one? Yeah, but I haven't seen any. I was going to buy the Grimlock, but when I looked at it properly, and then when I looked at, you know, where some people have bought it, took photos and done reviews of it and that, it's like, was it $23.99 in Smith's? Not worth $23.99. Might be worth $13.99 if it comes. I'll just wait for it to turn up in fucking Home Bargains or something, and it'll only be $10 or whatever. I'll wait. No, I'm not fucking desperate for it. I mean, fucking hell, I've got this cupboard here is fucking full to bursting. It's like I've gone through and sold some, but it's still. I think if I went and bought, say I went out and bought another half dozen Transformers tomorrow, they wouldn't be going in there because there's nowhere for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say space is always an issue for me. It's kind of why I don't. Well, I say I don't buy as much. The problem is if I do buy something, maybe in 6 months to a year's time, I will just end up selling it on eBay because I need the room.
Yeah. Depends what it is. I mean, it's like I say, so because I've been buying mainly cars recently, one of the things I've found is B&M sells these like plastic boxes. Was it the called? Well, it says desk organizer on it. And hang on, see if I can show. Hang on, I'll see if I can show you one. Oh, this is this is my box of cars that I've got to do, which is what I got from Car Builder. It's just this plastic box here, and you can put cars in, and then they stack on top of each other. You know, so you basically get a display case for them, and it keeps the dust off them and everything. You know, and I've got one here behind my laptop that's got me Ford and Lamborghini stuff in. I've got another one up here on my shelf that's got the other stuff like my Volkswagens and, you know, all stuff like that. And then I've got another one over here that's got all my police cars and that in. You know, and they come in different sizes. Like there's this size, And then there's like one that's about like that wide, so from here to here, that wide, which is the one I've got my police stuff in. And they're great. They're only like what, couple of quid. I mean, you can use them for other stuff as well. Like if you've got, like Warhammer figures and things like that. They're all right for putting, for storing them and keeping dust off them. And then they've got some wider ones that are a bit bigger, which I was going to buy a couple to put tanks in, and put like some of my tanks in and then stack it and then have another row of tanks on top to save a bit of space with tanks. But it's not deep enough, if you know what I mean. It's wide enough, but it's not deep enough. And, but that's what I say. I've been finding all sorts of bits like that, like storage solutions. But I was thinking about over here where I've got my flags, putting shelves above my bed. I've kind of got off that idea because I remember once when I was a nipper, I had shelves above my bed, and I remember waking up one night and stuff, I got books on it. And, when you're 6 years old and you wake up in the middle of the night with books bouncing off your head, it's not a pleasant experience.
No.
Yeah.
Space will always be an issue.
Yeah, it's just that's what you get for hoarding tat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the only difference between people who hoard tat and people who hoard junk is the fact that tat tends not to smell as bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you get like the what they call, like when you see these programs. Hoarders or something. I remember there was a series on Channel 4, like with people that they've got all sorts in their house, like bags of rubbish and everything like that. And it's like, how the fuck do people get that bad? Especially when they've got like animals as well, where you see they've got like 2,000 cats and then their house is full of rubbish. But it's like, fucking hell, I bet that house stinks.
Yeah, you do ask the question how on earth people end up living in a house that's effectively full of junk.
Yeah, well, the worst one I saw, it was an American one, and it was basically a woman who she'd lived with a mum, and her mum was, her mum had eventually, died of old age kind of thing, and she'd lived with her to look after her sort of thing, and eventually a house started filling up with rubbish. She wouldn't throw anything away and stuff like that. And she didn't work because she wasn't capable of working. She didn't have the mental bus fare. And she couldn't pay the bills. So she ended up having, like water and electric cut off and things like that. And it got to a point where she was shitting in a bucket in the house. And then,
oh, God.
Yeah. And then instead of taking the bucket out and emptying the bucket out, she was like scooping the shit and piss out of the bucket, just like in a little bowl, and then just pouring it out into the backyard. And the other thing as well, she got a thing for eating rotten food. Like it showed you what food that she had in the house, and it was all rotten, but she used to just sit and tuck into it, sort of thing. Yeah, and they eventually cleared the entire house out. A family, came and they cleared the entire house out. And what the hell? No, sorry, I just saw something weird outside. Yeah, and they cleared the entire house out, and they said basically they weren't going to let her live on her own anymore. She wasn't capable of looking after herself. And then they said about doing house up and selling it, sort of thing. But then when they looked at the house, the amount of stuff that had been in there over the years, and with all the shit and everything that had just been left stored in the house, actual shit, I mean, shit and piss.
Yeah.
The house was you couldn't salvage it. It was going to cost more to do it up than what it would be to just demolish it and sell the land.
Yeah.
They ended up knocking the house down and selling the land because the house wasn't even, it wasn't fit for human habitation anymore. And it was weird there that this woman, she was just so fucking weird. It's like on the surface she looked all right, sort of. She weren't like, like that sort of thing. She looked just like, looked and acted just like a normal person, except, this thing, not chucking rubbish out and having rats and wanting to shit in a bucket instead of, you know, like using a toilet like everybody else. And horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's warm.
It is warm. Well, actually, I think it's a bit cooler over here.
It's not near. It just feels like it just feels like the bloody radiators are just turned on, but obviously they're not because they go off. They're on a timer.
Mm.
They go off at 9 o'clock and don't come on again till about I think 8 or 9 in the morning.
What have we got heating on for? It's fucking summer.
No, we haven't got heating on. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
no, it just feels like someone's put the radiators on.
Yeah. Also, no, I had to have a look at our boiler over there because even though we've got, even though I've set it so the heating don't come on, we've still got it, you know, like for hot water.
Mm.
Yeah. You know, every so often you have to top the boiler pressure up, sort of thing, you know, to make sure that it pumps properly. Because for some reason, I don't know what it is, but you tap on, you know, like tap on in either bathroom or bath or kitchen or whatever, and you get hot water out of it. But for some reason, the shower, hot water comes out of it for a little while, and then it goes cold again. And I thought maybe boiler pressure were down, but it's not. So I've had to report that to bloody landlord because I think the mixer valve's going or something. So I say it's one of the benefits of living in rented accommodation is you don't have to do any fucking repairs on house yourself.
That's good, yeah.
I don't know. Oh, what time is it anyway? Because I've got to be up early in the morning.
11.
11, yeah.
I might nip off because that's what I say. I've got to start winding down, try and get some kit because I've got to be up at 7. Got to go for a hospital appointment tomorrow morning. And even though I said, you know, can I have it sort of mid-afternoon, you know, because they're having trouble fucking, you know, getting going in the morning, waiting for my tablets to kick in. Like, oh no, you can have 8:30 or you can have 9. It's like, oh well, I suppose 9 I'll have to do. So I'm gonna be all fucking groggy and can't walk properly and shit in the morning because my tablets won't kick in till about fucking 10, 11 o'clock. Great. Loving it, yeah. So I'm gonna nip off and start winding down. And
should we call it here, lads? I mean, because we've been on for quite a while, haven't we? I mean, we can. I mean, obviously, we'll probably do it again. We'll try we could do it sometime next week, couldn't we?
Yeah, we can do another one.
Yeah, it has been a few hours now, hasn't it? But this has actually been quite fun.
Yeah.
Glad I've done that.
I'm going to say I don't even know how long. I know that I think it was just before 9 when I come on because 28 weeks later was just coming on, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, originally we'd scheduled for 7 o'clock, but I actually dozed off about 5 because I was having a lie down. And I dozed off.
Yeah.
And I didn't have an alarm set.
Yeah.
I didn't set the alarm on.
While it's been on, I've not been sleeping much at night, and I've built up such a massive sleep debt. I'm like falling asleep, just like falling asleep in the middle of the afternoon and then waking up at like 11 o'clock at night. Oh, nasty. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna nip off if you're finishing then.
No.
Okay then. All right. Well, I'd like to say thanks all for watching. We have a few views during this live stream, so thanks to you all. So I'd like to say thanks to all my guests, Sam, Carl, and John, and we will be back very soon.
Guys.
Obviously, in about 10 days, guys, I'm going to be seeing you in person. So to John and Sam.
Yeah, will be.
I will see you a week on Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye bye, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Digicon, just on that, Carl, do you think you might go back to Digicon next year in the February time if it's on?
I don't know. There's Digicon 5 coming up in 3 weeks, but it's in Derby this time.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, that's a bit too far for me to go, and I can't really afford it at the minute anyway. It's all money I've got at the moment is going into, like boring adults. And I'm trying to save up for when me and Baz go to Elvington. So I won't be doing Digicon 5. But if it's like next year, I might call in for one of the days, go on the Saturday or the Sunday again, just for one day if it's back at Death.
So I might go back down because it was actually quite fun.
Yeah,
and they did. They had the game, the retro room, and they had a good deal room. For a small convention, it was very nice.
Yeah, it depends what they have on. I mean, the only thing I wanted to do was I wanted to go to the thingy one because they've got the guy who voiced Cell, and I wanted him to. I've got a shiny Cell level 5 card from the old Dragon Ball card game. I wanted him to sign, but because it's in Derby, I can't really go. It's like I said to my mum about it, and she's like, "Well, if you go that, it should mean she's got to drive all the way to Derby, drop me off, and then drive all the way back here, and then come and fetch me." Because it's I can't. Nobody else knows going, so I can't get a lift down and a lift back. So it's a bit too far for me to go. I can't do train either. I'm not even thinking about that. Can't set myself off. But yeah, if Digicon's back is at Deaf College again beginning next year or whenever, yeah, if I've got money, I'll pop in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Right, anyways, I'm gonna get off. So
okay, see you guys. All right. Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
See you all later. Bye bye.
See ya.